new borders are.
Evil Scotsman said Harris Pence. No,
That would be wild. If she made Mike Pence her VP, that shit would be nuts. Hey, if I would say that if he loses the election, there's a good chance that she will leave. I'd be willing to bet money on that.
I don't think so. I think he's so close to the end of his time here on this planet that she's gonna.
She's gonna hold out. She's gonna wait it out until she can.
Shit, I would. Fuck it. I dealt with you for this long. I'd have a baby with you, but I'm waiting till you expire.
What did Trump look like when him and Melania first got together?
Still orange. Still lumpy. Exactly.
Did I show y'all the paint code color chart? Because I was trying to figure out what skin tone he had yesterday, and I couldn't figure it out. I was like thinking like deep saffron, or like maybe like a tangelo.
Oh my God! They should put Hunter Biden as VP.
Haley, good morning. How are you? I don't think they meant to request. Taisha, how are you, friend? You have some water? Say something kind about yourself.
I'm terrible, but I did have water.
Why are you terrible? Guys, tap that screen. We should be at 300K by now. Tap, 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 tippity, tap, tap, tap. And let's get to 1 million likes this morning.
Because somebody wanted to stay up until 4 goddamn in the morning. So I just spent most of the night crying because I was so tired. I'm still so tired, and I still just want to cry.
I'm sorry, friend.
My kid woke me up at 4:45 asking for some mini muffins, so I get it.
When my kid calls, it's usually for money. He's 27, so I'm just glad when he calls, I avoid the phone call.
That's crazy.
Because he never calls. When he calls, I almost want to answer the phone and say, "What do you want?" Because the simple fact he doesn't call until he needs something.
You should tell him, Dad.
Hold on for just a second, guys. Hold on for just a second.
Anyway, you should tell him that Dad isn't spelled ATM.
My daughter woke me up at 8 o'clock this morning to give me candy for my birthday. So I mean, that's a pretty solid way for your kid to behave, right?
Yes, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think the worst thing, the most egregious thing my son did was call me the day before Father's Day and forgot that the Father's Day was the next day and asked could he get some money. I gave it to him. That's my son. But I'm like, okay. And then Father's Day came and he didn't call. I'm like, huh? He called Monday and say, "Hey, happy belated Father's Day."
I don't even like really even pay attention and or care about those things. I really don't. Maybe it's just me, but I don't care about any of those Hallmark holidays. I don't. And plus, Peppa Pig told my daughters that Father's Day is not a real holiday, and so they say like Mother's Day is. Like so, and they say that all the time.
That's so rude.
But yeah, it doesn't affect me one way or another. I don't care. I really don't care. But that's why we don't watch Peppa Pig in this house anymore, though. They're anti-dads.
The Trump supporters are awfully quiet in a lot of places today.
No, they definitely are. They definitely are. Hey guys, let's get to 300K likes. Let's get to 300K likes. They watch Bluey. Yeah, they do. They watch a lot of Bluey. Well, at least
Peppa Pig is a bitch.
Yikes!
No, she is.
That's
Generally,
heavy.
like,
That's heavy. That's
is.
heavy language. First thing in the morning.
Well, not for me. It's already 5 o'clock, so I'm fine.
Oh.
But genuinely, like, she's like, I'm not watching her. She's a rude little girl. Mm-mm. She's rude. Like,
That and Caillou. Fuck Caillou.
I don't know anything about Caillou or Coco Melon or none of that stuff. Thank God.
Be glad.
I never had to watch any
Caillou
of
is a
that.
little bitch.
Have y'all seen
Hold
this
on one second,
YouTube?
everybody. Pause for a
Oh,
second.
sorry.
Mr. Ferocity, what's up?
What's going on?
How you doing
How
today?
you guys doing on this Monday?
You know, living the dream, man. I woke up 6 feet above the ground instead of 6 feet under the ground, so I think we're off to a good start at the very least.
That's right, man. The algorithm just fed me to this room, so I figured I'd drop in. I'm feeding the baby, about to put her to bed.
Okay, good dad. I love that. I love a good dad. I really do. Being a single dad myself, you know, it's inspiring to hear men actually taking care of their children. It is.
It is, man. It's
far
cool.
too
When
often
coming
we
out
hear-
of the store, you see other dads or moms, you know, just doing it. It's just like it's a whole different perspective. I'm 41, so I went a long time before I realized that I even wanted to have a kid, and it's fulfillment in ways you never even thought was possible.
Liar.
Taisha, it's tough being a parent.
It's the worst, the biggest mistake of my life.
Well, I have an 8 and a 6-year-old. Well, I have a lot of kids. I got a lot of kids, but I only have an 8 and a 6-year-old that are still at home with me. So
Taisha has no tact at all. Like, I'm literally
None.
pregnant too.
Zero.
Like, what the fuck?
Sorry. I mean, it's amazing. It's the greatest love of your life. You'll
whatever. It's too
never
late. It's too
know
late. You've already
anything.
put a stain on it.
Listen,
Mr.
you
Frost,
can
do you have a little boy, a little girl?
I have a little girl.
Little girl. Oh, okay. All right.
You
What do you
can
plan?
love your
How do you
kids.
plan on
Beautifully.
voting in this next election?
Trump.
Gotcha. Let me ask you a really quick question, right? Simple question. Should be. If like your little girl came home for, I don't know, college, and she said, "Hey, Dad, the quarterback on our college football team grabbed me by the vagina and kissed me in the mouth without my consent," what would you do?
I beat that dude's ass.
Why?
Oh, sorry. I might
No,
not
you're
have
fine.
been
You
able
can
to
curse.
say
I
that.
don't care, bro. Say whatever you want.
Because if he did that actual fact, you know, if that actual act, that's disgusting, and that person needs to be punished.
I dig that. What if he was like running for, I don't know, student body president? Would you advocate that your daughter vote for him? Especially like if it was gonna, like, I don't know, lower tuition or something like that for her, or there would be some benefits to him being in that position?
Well, was this person convicted and prosecuted of actual said act that you stated in your example?
Yeah. Do you know how many rapists are actually convicted in the United States?
I'd probably say the majority of them go unprosecuted because the women don't come forward.
Yeah, not only that, it's sometimes nearly impossible to prove, right, that somebody was raped beyond a shadow of a doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt.
Also, can I quickly say that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard? Okay, first of all, even when they do report.
Oh yeah,
it's
hold on,
most
Shaisha.
likely-
Brock Turner was found guilty and didn't even go to jail. Like
Yeah,
they said,
like even when they are
it was
found
gonna ruin
guilty, they
his
either get a slap
life.
on the wrist or very minimal time, if any time at all. Like, bring back public. Hey, sorry.
So, would you have hung Trevor Bauer?
Taisha,
you know,
that's
he would be hung in-
crazy. Taisha, you gotta drop and come back, friend. You can't say that.
Sorry.
I both violence today. I do have the statistics too. So if a rape is reported, there's only a 50% chance that somebody's even getting arrested. Out of all the arrested ones, there's an 80% chance of prosecution. And if there's a prosecution, there's a 58% chance of conviction. So you see how the likelihood for something really to happen is so small. So 6% of rapists are going to spend a day in jail.
6%.
That's wild.
So I don't know how that's relevant. And so, are you gonna believe your daughter?
Mr. Jones, can I ask you a question?
Sure, I'd be happy to answer any question you got. But can you answer mine first?
Go ahead.
Are you going to believe your daughter?
If she said that happened, and I mean, if the guy did that, yes.
Are you going to believe your daughter, whether or not it's proven or not? Are you going to believe your daughter?
Yes, and that will be because of the way I raise my daughter.
You haven't raised your daughter yet, so how do you know?
Oh no, I will. I plan to raise her with morality.
We plan
ethics.
to do a whole bunch of shit. It doesn't always work out that way.
Oh no, I actually am doing it though.
What does your daughter's morality have to do with getting raped?
No, I think what you saying that she wouldn't make a false report because that's what women do. Is that what's going on? Do you think that that's a way that we're raised or something? How many women do you think are falsely reporting rape?
I cannot vouch for how everybody's raised.
Well,
but
I mean, there's a statistic.
look at the Trevor Bauer incident.
We can't look at one
was proven
incident.
to
We
lie.
can't. No, we can't look at one incident. We have to look at all of the incidents in an aggregate. We can't look at one incident. That doesn't make any sense. Like, that's not how we judge any other thing on this planet. Like, we can't say, oh, I had, a bean burrito once and, it was bad. And so I'm never going to have a bean burrito again because that one bean burrito I got off of a, sketch looking food truck in the middle of Arizona, was a bad bean burrito. Like, that's not how that works.
It's actually not like it's a fraction of people. Like the false reports, like this whole idea that that's like a huge issue is wrong, systemically wrong. Like you're more likely as a man to be raped by another man than a woman falsely reporting.
The false allegation rate is somewhere between 2 and 5%. And I say that number is high because oftentimes false rape allegations are classified as false when the police do not find enough evidence to bring charges, or when police decline to investigate, which they've actually done studies about this. And if you'd like to look this information up, anybody can go in my link tree in my bio, but I'll give you the exact source that talks about gender bias in policing. So this was done by, you can check justice.gov. It's called Gender Bias in Policing and Sexual Assault, as well as Gender Bias in Sexual Assault Response and Investigation. This was a comprehensive look at how police departments investigated rape and SA allegations, and they found that oftentimes cases were dismissed based on the individual's or the investigator's bias, and we understand that 97% of police are men. So that's how oftentimes false rape allegations are classified, not because they're actually false, but because the detective or investigator feels there isn't enough evidence or they decline to investigate.
Hey
So,
guys,
Mr.
let's get to 300K likes. Come on. We got this.
So considering that all the statistics, so we look at a systemic level now, and also looking at Trump's track record, his own rhetoric that he is presenting, that he has openly admitted to, and also the dozens of victims that have come
26.
forward. Are you surprised, that he is capable of doing that, and there's just a bunch of women like conspiring against him because he's a man? Like, what's the deal here?
I think he's taking care of his child, which is cool.
Yeah,
I would
okay.
Give me like 3 minutes. We're
No,
going
go ahead.
diaper
I
time,
understand.
bedtime.
I get it.
You're okay.
While we're waiting, I just want to play some audio from Donnie himself. Old Don Jimothy.
I already have acid reflux. Now this on top of that. And I hear that grapist talk. Oh well.
Let's see. There's probably going to be an ad. Yep, definitely an ad. There's always an ad.
I can't believe that. I mean,
A past interview
Jones,
with Howard
I don't
Stern
wanna.
now making headlines.
What's this?
Trump talking about how he had free reign at his beauty pageants. I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant and therefore I'm inspecting it. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is
With no
everybody
clothes.
okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that. Today, a former Miss Arizona, who calls herself a conservative, going public in an interview with KCBS, describing what she says happened backstage with Trump at a Miss USA pageant.
Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked, changing into our bikinis.
Tasha Dixon detailing her discomfort.
To have the owner come waltzing in when we're naked or half naked in a very physically vulnerable position, and then to have the pressure of the people that work for him telling us to go fawn all over him, go walk up to him, talk to him, get his attention.
She describes feeling helpless.
Who do you complain to? He owns the pageant. So there's no one to complain to. Everyone there works for him. Restaurant store.
30 chairs, non-squeak.
I don't want to call you a poor Jones, but why the fuck do you not have YouTube Premium? At this point, we gotta talk because I keep hearing this with you. What is happening?
I don't know.
You need to.
YouTube Premium is a waste of money.
Oh,
Can
I'll
everyone please
fight you on
donate to
that
the
one.
YouTube Premium Fund for Mr. Jones? Only 2 subscriptions will cover that.
Exactly.
YouTube
Y'all have to
Premium
send.
is more expensive
Y'all are rude.
than like what is it like Peacock and Netflix and like some other like streaming services. Just so you don't have to have ads.
No, that's
ridiculous.
not.
This one's
That's
free.
no.
Mr.
no.
Ferocity is back. I think he wants to say something. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, I was lighting you up with hearts.
I appreciate it.
All right.
What's
All right, baby's to bed.
Okay.
So I think we really have like a cultural issue in this subject that's dividing the sexes. I mean, you have to have the men be held accountable who are responsible actually for committing the act, but you also have to discourage the other side for false claims. So I don't really have any idea how you solve that or protect
Mr.
the
innocent,
innocent
come on, friend. We
and
have to
punish the
listen.
guilty.
Hold on, guys. Hey, guys. Please stop. Mute yourselves. Listen, I'm gonna level with you, man to man, right? I have a bunch of daughters. I'm not even joking. Like I have a bunch, right? I hear. I have older daughters that are, you know what I'm saying, like 15 to 22, right? And then I have younger ones that are 8 to 5, you know, like little ones, right? And so I hear the things that men say, not only to them, but about women in general, right? Like I hear them say things about the way they're dressed or how they look. I heard Donald Trump say to a 10-year-old girl, or say to a reporter about a 10-year-old girl, I'll be dating her in 10 years. Can you imagine that? I'll be dating her in 10 years. I heard him say to Billy Bush that he grabs women by the vagina and kisses them in the mouth without their consent. And then in his deposition for the E. Jean Carroll trial, when he was being deposed, doubled down on that. I'll play the video in a minute. And then on Howard Stern, he quite literally said that he goes in the dressing room while these girls are standing there without any clothes. And then 26 women, both from Miss America, Miss Teen USA pageants, came out and said that he did those very things. Multiple women, I can give you every single one of their names, said that he pushed them up against walls and kissed them, grabbed them by their vagina without their consent. This man said that he does it. Women said that he does it. And your argumentation is, well, listen, we got to look at both sides. Both sides of what? We've went through all the data. Women aren't out there just saying, hey, I got raped for no reason and putting that social stigma on themselves. You know why they're not doing it? Because when they tell people, like yourself, friend, they say, what were you wearing? Were you drinking? Were you flirting with him? How were you behaving? Why were you there? Oh, well, you know, maybe if you didn't go to that party, maybe if you didn't go to that club, maybe if you didn't go to that restaurant, maybe if you weren't, you know, in that, on that street walking home, Maybe if you weren't walking home by yourself. Maybe, just maybe, right? Here's a novel idea. Maybe we should not be electing presidents that have done these things so that other young men know that this is unacceptable behavior. Maybe we should be telling men, right, not just here, but globally, hey, stop violating women. Maybe we should be addressing the men who are the threat, who are the objective threat. That's what we should be doing. Not both sides. We should objectively be addressing men, because men are the threat. Men are the most likely to grape a woman, most likely to unalive a woman, most likely to harm a man, most likely to grape a man. We know this to be true. These are objective facts. So the issue is men. Period.
Mr. Jones, did you vote for Joe Biden? It's pretty safe to say, right?
No, I did not.
Okay. Lots of people did, and they brushed the Tara Reade allegations under the rug.
So Tara Reade, right? And what did Joe Biden say? Joe Biden said, hey, believe women. He didn't call her a dog. He didn't say she's too ugly for me to have done something. He didn't say any of those things. He said, believe women. I want you to do a thorough investigation. Guess what Tara Reade did? Didn't show up to hearings. Wouldn't show up to testify. Her own lawyer said that she had her story kept changing, and he couldn't verify what was accurate and what was not. And then she left the country. And quite literally is pictured with multiple known Russian operatives. Multiple, not one, but multiple known Russian operatives.
Yeah,
but Joe Biden said, investigate this. He didn't say, I didn't do it. She's a dog. She's ugly. You know what I'm saying? I would never have to grape somebody like. She didn't say none of that stuff. He didn't try to defame her character. He didn't try to make a big circus out of it. Media circus out of it. He quite literally said, believe women. I want a thorough investigation.
Mr. Jones, let me ask you a question. If it does turn out that the allegations are true, what's your answer to it?
Put his ass in jail.
Thank you. Okay. So now what?
And her complaint was also not grape, by the way. None of the allegations against Biden were grape.
Yeah, but I mean, essay or whatever you can find that is true, and he would be prosecuted. It would turn out to be true.
Same here. I was dragging through the mud.
Exactly. I don't have any tie to any politician, and I don't think any man is saved from allegations or from prosecutions. I cannot justify any of them. I don't care if
it was my own child. If it was my own child, I'd turn him in.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat. Wouldn't even think twice about it. Would not even think twice about it. If my own son were to violate a woman, sorry, friend, you're gonna have to go to jail. I'm not hiding you out. I'm not paying for a lawyer. Did what you did. You got to go.
Same. Absolutely 100% same.
So now that we have established that, Mr. Ferocity, what's your opinion on that now?
I've been paying attention to the media probably since 2016 and seeing all the way the media has targeted Trump, and it has taken me from a Democrat to an independent to a Republican now because of what I've seen. So there's not too much now that could sway my decision because I've seen the political prosecution that's taking part in our country.
What about
you guys get mad about this?
Hold on,
you get mad about that video, but I'm concerned about the border where human trafficking is going on.
But that's not true. That's not true. So I'll go. We'll break down the actual numbers, right? So Trump was party to 4,000 lawsuits prior to him ever announcing that he was running for president. 4,000. So was that political prosecution? Was that politically motivated? I think not. In addition to that, he was a co-defendant on a lawsuit with Jeffrey Epstein. Her name is Katie Johnson. You should look up her story and what Epstein and Trump did to her, right? And so, like, quite literally, there's a history behind this. But and then we're gonna pivot to the border. Like, I'm not worried about the commander-in-chief being a rapist. I'm going to talk about the border. The vast majority of people that are trafficked, young people that are trafficked in the United States, come from our adoption and foster care system. The other ones that are foreign come from Eastern Europe and Asia, not from our southern border. Now, children that come across our southern border unoccupied is for a few reasons. One, their parent wasn't well enough to travel and they have family here in the United States. Two, their parent didn't make it on the way here. Three, they were already an orphan. There is an infinitesimal amount of children being trafficked across the southern border. Also, the vast majority of narcotics that come in across our southern border are brought by American citizens in vehicles. It's not people walking hundreds of miles across unforgiving terrain just to bring in a little tiny bit of narcotics. And the vast majority of our narcotics in the United States come by plane and boat through legal ports of entry. Since the Biden-Harris administration has been in office, we have had nearly 10 million encounters. That doesn't mean entries. That means that an immigrant has come in contact with a border agency of some sort, and oftentimes it's multiple. We've had nearly 10 million encounters. We've allowed 2.5 million people into the United States. We've expelled 2.8 million people from the United States. So we have a net negative immigration. The same as we had a net negative immigration with Barack Obama. You guys keep complaining about the border. Donald Trump was in office. In the first 2 years, he had the House and the Senate. He ran on border legislation and passed zero border policy in regards to the southern border. The only thing that he tried to do was implement a Muslim ban, which the Supreme Court deemed unconstitutional and based in bias.
Mr. Jones, you said 10 million encounters. How many do you think made it through and did not experience an encounter?
I just told you. I don't know. I would say, if I had to guess, at 40, 50,000 possibly, but who cares? Like, to be honest with you, the vast majority of our undocumented immigrants in the United States come from Asian countries and they're in European countries. They're here on overstayed visas. And the last time an undocumented immigrant committed an atrocity, like a terrorist act or anything in that nation, is slim and none. What state do you live in, friend?
Lincoln Riley?
No, that's fine. What state do you live in?
Florida.
Florida, gotcha. So we border Georgia. I'm also in Florida. We border Georgia. Do you know everybody in Georgia?
No, I don't know everybody.
You don't? Do you think that there's rapists and murderers and drug dealers in Georgia by chance?
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, probably, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if they come to Florida and they commit one of those crimes, what would happen to them?
It depends on if they're caught or not.
Gotcha. Oftentimes they are.
So jail is the answer to that?
Yeah.
Or a fine?
It depends, too, on who your local prosecutor is.
Should we build a wall? Should we build a wall between Georgia and Florida?
No.
Why not?
Because if you're screened to come into the United States, you should be fine to move around it.
We are screened to come into the United States. The people that are here with undocumented status doesn't mean we don't know who they are. It simply means that they don't have legal standing within the United States, but we know who they are.
Well, if they had an encounter, potentially. But if they just came across and did not, you don't know who they are.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not concerned with that. We have more people come across our northern border unaccounted for than we do our southern border. So why is that our focus? We have more people that come here on overstayed visas and stay than we have come across our southern border that we don't know about. So why should I be concerned about people who are the least likely demographic in the United States to commit a crime? Why should I be concerned about the least likely demographic to commit a crime instead of the people who I know are more likely to commit a crime?
I think we should try to prevent an incident like what happened in Israel on that Hamas situation.
That didn't happen in a vacuum, and that's absolutely absurd to even bring up. Like, that's another wild pivot. That didn't happen in a vacuum.
If we don't know who's in
what
the
happened
country,
on October 6th? What happened on
that's a
October
concern.
6th? Mr. Ferocity, what happened on October 6th?
Is that when Joe Biden released $5 billion to Iran?
No.
And they funded
No.
those organizations, Hamas, Hezbollah?
No. Or 2 days prior. 2 days prior, literally, IDF soldiers went in and shot down people in the Gaza Strip. So, like, I don't understand why it is that we live, you know what I'm saying, in opposing realities. All of this information that I've, you know what I'm saying, given you today is easily available, right? It's easily available. It's not, you're not going to find it in a Facebook meme. You're not going to find it on a Reddit thread. You're not going to see it on a Twitter post. You're not going to see it in somebody's TikTok or YouTube video, right? Like, if you go read the Associated Press, which has been deemed the most unbiased source of news available. If you go read Reuters, where it's not opinion based, and it'll let you know if it's an opinion article or not. Like, if you go and actually do the research yourself, then you don't say these things. Are you a Christian by any chance?
Yes.
Okay. What does the Bible say about immigrants? What does Jesus specifically say about immigrants?
Which part?
I mean, I can give you 70 plus scriptures.
Okay. Go ahead with the one that's going to support your point.
Okay, sure. We'll go with Matthew 25, verses 31 through 46. How's that sound?
That's good.
Okay, sure. It's one of my favorites.
Oh, for real?
It makes the most sense. You said yours too?
No, mine too, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
It's called the sheep and the goats, right? When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all of the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." And the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" And the king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Then he will say to those on his left, "Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal flame prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me." And they will also answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison and did not help you?" And he will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me." And they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life. Now, with that being said, 87% of the people who cross our southern border are devout Christians. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
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 Mr. Ferocity, you also know that people who cross our border are significantly less likely to commit crimes, including rape and SA, far less than United States citizens, and that it's United States citizens who are more likely to traffic the illegal substances and traffic people.
Well, that does not give me the right to favor foreigners versus our own citizens. I love
We do
America.
that all the time.
So Mr. Ferocity, let me ask you, where did your ancestors come from?
Exactly that.
French Canadians. We came over
Same.
and helped to
Yeah.
win the American Revolution.
Oh, okay. So you've been here. Your ancestors have been here for a couple hundred years.
Yep, a war was fought and we won the territory.
And did they come here legally?
Yes, back then. I am all for people coming to America.
How do you know?
Remember, I was a progressive. You just got to come legally.
How
They
do
are
you know
coming
they
legally.
came here
They
legally?
are coming legally.
They
How
are
do you-
not.
how
Yes,
do
they
you know
are.
they came
Our
here
asylum
legally,
laws
sir?
say that they're coming here legally.
Mr. Ferocity, how do you know your ancestors came here legally?
I didn't sit in the court case, so I guess you got a point there.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Monica. I appreciate you for the donations. Thank you so much.
I have a question for you, Mr. Ferocity. You said that you
Yeah, go
were
ahead.
progressive, and then you went more towards independent, and now you're voting for Donald Trump because
Yes.
of the media and the things that you've heard and seen, and
Thank
you feel
you,
like he's
Natalie.
being persecuted. What about Donald Trump resonates with you personally
Or
that
religiously.
makes you feel compassion for him and his situation?
I mean, you don't have to always feel like you need to connect with your president on some intimate, passionate level. I can disagree with certain things Trump has said in the past, but not condemn him to hell for that. So
Nobody's
I
condemning him
don't.
to hell. We just don't want him in our presidential office.
Yeah, what
Well,
makes
no,
him?
no. I get that, but it's a lot of it too. For me, is policy.
Yeah,
when
what
I
is
would
his
see a
policy? That's what
policy
I was
roll
going to ask.
out.
Give me a policy. Give me one that helped all American
making it
people.
a
Hold on, that helped all American people.
Making it federal law that animal abuse is a
That
felony.
doesn't help all
That's
American
good.
people. Yeah, that doesn't help all
No,
American
that does.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
That was already, and plus that was already in place on every state level. Literally on every state
Okay.
level, it was already in
That
place.
doesn't even help
Yeah,
people.
it doesn't
Let's
even help
go
people.
with,
It helps animals.
um,
Hold on, really quickly. So you're telling me you're more concerned about the well-being of animals than the 645,000 unhoused people, the 1 in 5 children that go to bed without food every night, the fact that he bankrupts small farmers across the United States.
No,
that he-
Mr.
that he-
Jones, if you
that-
don't like that one, I can give you a different one.
Okay, sure. Okay.
I'm
great.
sorry, I didn't know you guys would have that reaction to that one.
Because you're talking about animals. I said, can you give me a policy that helps all American citizens? And you said animals.
I mean, I can go through individual ones that were targeted
you a
for
vegan?
people individually, like diabetes, the insulin that he
Yeah,
did.
he
that Joe
actually-
Biden canceled on day one
not
and then
true.
brought back a year later.
It's not true at all. So
What?
his policy, right, on insulin only helped 10% of Medicare patients. 10% of Medicare patients. That's not enough people. That's not enough. 10% of Medicare patients isn't cutting it. And so Joseph Biden made sure that it was across the board for all recipients, not just a small portion of people, all people.
Well, my aunt took advantage of that, and she was not
Never
on
went
Medicare
into
at the
effect, so I
time.
don't know how she took advantage of it. It never went into effect.
Yeah,
Mr.
so
Ferocity, are you-
if
Oh,
anything,
nerdy,
it was a
hold
good
on. I don't
idea.
want to inundate it.
If anything, it was a good idea that was at least shown, and if it was made better, that's fine. I'm glad. But you know what? Why did nobody do that for the 60 years prior to that?
Because most of our Congress members, senators, and House of Representative members are getting lobbied by big pharma because
Absolutely.
because George W. Bush thought it was okay, right, to overturn Citizens United so that corporations could operate as individuals. That's why.
Absolutely.
And
I
because
agree with
this
that
man,
100%.
quite literally removed consumer protections. Day one, signed a executive order removing consumer protections. And so BlackRock was able to buy up real estate all across the United States. Antitrust laws are thrown out of the window, and corporations are allowed to price gouge us unabated.
Well, in order to prevent price gouging in big pharma, he actually opened it up to Canada to encourage competition in pharmaceutical market to lower drug prescription costs. That was a good thing that benefited everybody that got prescription drugs.
Not all Americans take prescription drugs, but
No.
that's just, you know what I'm saying, inviting more capitalism. What's the name of that policy?
Canada Prescription Drug Act. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I just know what it did. Sorry, I don't carry them all around in my pocket. My bad.
My point for asking you that question was because we know that Donald Trump has committed fraud. We know that Donald Trump has essayed people. Like, we know all of these things about him. They've been proven, right? So with all of that, there has to still be something that resonates with you. So is it one of those things or is it something else? Because you have yet to name something that has benefited all Americans.
I named several things. Lowering prescription drug costs, if you take drug costs,
Not all
you take
Americans
drugs,
take
is good.
prescription drugs.
Well, then how many things are actually accomplished that benefit everybody? I mean,
I can tell you the
fact that-
infrastructure bill, the PACT Act, the CHIPS Act.
I think the tax reform, the fact that each household was grossing $4,000 in
And it
the
ended up
positive, and
fucking
now we're
everyone.
grossing 23,000 in the negatives because of inflation and everything. That's a big one. That affected everybody.
So let me
That
explain.
piece is that you don't
Yeah. So
understand.
let me explain the Tax Act for you. So we have the congressional review on tax policy, right? We have the congressional review on tax policy, and after reviewing it, most American citizens' taxes went up. And let me explain how. You would get more back on your paycheck, right? So for the first year, most people got, roughly, I don't know, let's say $500 a paycheck back on their. Hold on one second, I'll be there in a minute. Sorry.
The girls want to play.
500 times 12. So okay, so you said 4,000, right? So the average person got about 4,000. That was only year one.
Yeah, a little more than that.
Yeah, that was only year one. It was only year one, right? So year one, the average person got back $4,000, right? But he got rid of the itemized deductions, but he raised the standard deduction and the standard and the child tax credit. However, only $1,600 of that was payable back to the taxpayer. So if I got back $4,000, on my paycheck, right? If I got back $4,000 on my paycheck, however, I normally would get eight to $10,000 back on my tax returns, but now I'm only getting $2,000 back on my tax returns between the child tax credit and the what itemized deductions are left. Now I have the $2,000, right? Plus the $4,000, which gives me $6,000. So if I normally got back $8,000 to $10,000 on my tax returns, but now I'm only getting back $2,000, and I got $4,000 back on my check. $4,000 more on my check throughout the year. Did I actually get a tax break?
Mister, you're taking that wrong. I'm sorry, I must have miscommunicated the wrong way. I was talking about when you factor in everything with a household. They were a household with inflation and gas and stuff like that. They were holding on to an extra, I think it was $4,300 on average. Now, if you do that same ratio and you factor in inflation, increases in your car insurance, increases in everything else that we're dealing with right now, it's a negative $20,000 for an average family.
Sure. First of all, inflation is a global issue. So that's number one. And it's a response to the disruption in supply chains from COVID. Much of which could have been mitigated had he not lied about COVID for months, but we'll get to that later. So if we look at the Tax and Jobs Act, right? He cut taxes for major corporations and the wealthy. They were supposed to expand their businesses and hire more people. 85% of the corporations self-reported that they did not hire more people and did not expand.
Well, in 2019, there was an actual report of 400,000 jobs just in that year for manufacturing jobs. Okay. For let's big corporations that wanted to invest in.
Sure. Let's see what the companies said themselves.
Like right now under Joe, we have John Deere just announced that they're going to move 3 factories down to Mexico, losing about 750 jobs for John Deere building tractors, bobcats, excavators, stuff like that out of Illinois.
Sure.
We don't want people leaving. Okay. We need more manufacturing to come back.
Okay, great. So he's talking about coming into office and implementing tariffs and getting rid of taxes altogether, which will effectively destroy the middle class and raise the cost of goods to everyone. And we'll have more corporations leaving because all of the parts and all of the things that they order in order to manufacture will have a tariff attached to them. But again, we'll get to that.
Well, then do your business in the U.S.
if we don't have people manufacturing those items, right, like the CHIPS Act, if we don't have people manufacturing those items here in the United States, how do you propose one does their business in the United States?
Well, if we're importing a workforce anyway, we might as well have manufacturing, right?
So you're telling me that we should bring people in and exploit them for their labor, and as opposed to paying everybody a livable wage?
That is already what's underway right now, I believe, with the importation of all these folks that are coming across the border.
Yeah. So if we raised, right, if we raised federally the minimum wage from $7.25 to something that actually makes sense, then those people could not be exploited any longer.
I agree, but we need our government to step in ways like Tyson Chicken laying off 50,000 employees and they're hiring up these new folks. That's not good. That doesn't benefit Americans.
You think that Tyson's Chicken is hiring tons of undocumented people?
I don't know what they're doing right now.
Because they're
There's
not.
so much that you just don't know.
Because they're not.
It's all gray.
Do you see how you're like literally bending yourself in knots to defend things, you know what I'm saying, based in an alternate reality, like based in something that is not factual, something that you cannot quantify by any reasonable measure?
Well, the victor wins, rewrites the history, so it's very hard for me to defend certain points when you rewrite everything through Google and all the documentations, basically. But common sense, you could think about what's happening.
Do you know what common sense means, Mr. Ferocity? Common sense means the sense of the commoners. It means the people that aren't very well educated. Once upon a time, it was common sense, right, that the earth was flat. Once upon a time, it was common sense that black people weren't an entire human being and they could be enslaved. Once upon a time, it was common sense that indigenous people across the globe were savages and their lands or their values or their rituals or their actual existence did not need to be valued. That was common sense. So I don't want to go on common sense. I want to go on quantifiable data. I want to go on things that I can look at and say, hey, yes, this is the factual, existence of what is going on. I don't want to live, you know what I'm saying, in the fray. I don't want to live in Delulu. I don't want somebody to tell me what to think.
Real quick. If your data is being bought and paid for by reports that's funded to come to a certain conclusion, how can you fully 100% trust these corporations that are paying for these reports and all these data entries? Even if you have a 50-50 split.
That completely negates what you just said about Tyson Chicken laying off people.
So hold on. So I should hold on 1 second. I just want to ask this question, and then no, Rad, you got it. This is the last question I'm asked. So I should believe one person over the multitudes of experts in the field that study these things. I should believe this one man over the vast array of people whose entire career has been around providing this type of information to the people.
I don't know, man.
That's culty,
I don't know what
bro.
to believe anymore.
Yeah, go ahead, no Rads.
The Americans are the most propagandized people in the world.
That's not true.
Days.
Russians are. And then North Koreans.
If I may, I know, Rads, I know you were going to speak.
No, you can go ahead, DT, bro.
Mr. Ferocity.
Also, happy birthday, DT. I love you.
Love you too. I've been listening to you the whole time now, and I haven't wanted to say anything because I wanted to actually listen to every point that you've said. And I got to be honest, I have a theory I want to posit to you. And the theory is this. When we first started this conversation, and you were asked about the grape and essay allegations against Donald Trump, one of your responses to the idea about your daughter was to say, well, I'm raising her right. As if to say, that sort of thing won't happen to her because of the way I'm raising her. Now, let me just give you a little insight into me. I'm a single father to a nonverbal autistic child. If something would ever happen to my child, she would have no way of telling me that happened. I would have to try and discern what had happened to her because she is incapable of being able to tell me those things. Now, despite that point altogether, you then pivoted to another conversation talking point about how you didn't really care about the grape and essay stuff with Donald Trump. You really cared about the southern border. And then when you were proven wrong about the southern border, you pivoted to another talking point. Then it became about how much money we're spending on things and what inflation is. But the one thing that stuck out to me the most is that you said you've been watching how the media has been attacking Donald Trump relentlessly. and that it's a witch hunt against Donald Trump in the media, and that we are the most propagandized nation. I posit this theory to you, Mr. Ferocity. Is it possible that the reason that you want to vote for Donald Trump is because you look at him and you see yourself as somebody who is a victim of being marginalized in some way? Do you honestly believe that you and people who look like you and think like you are being attacked to the point that your existence is in trouble? Is that where the vote really comes from? Because it doesn't sound like you know enough about the policy to make that kind of a statement. It's not that you care about what's right or wrong, because you've clearly stated that you don't care if he grapes or essays people. You don't have a clear understanding of just our basic border policies. So what is it that for you is going to vote for him? Is it because you identify with him and you see a individual in the media getting rightfully dragged, and you're saying, it's too much like me, I don't want that to happen to me, that's why I need him in the White House? Am I getting close there?
I believe that America should be better for everybody. And I think Donald Trump is the best opportunity
What
for
about
that.
queer people?
What?
What about women? What about
Hold on,
disabled
can I respond?
people? Sure.
Let me do my whole thing and you guys
Go
will
ahead,
pick
go
it
ahead. Then
apart.
I got you. Yep.
So I believe that if we get back to being energy independent,
We are now.
and this is my
We are
belief,
now.
and we are a net exporter
We are now.
of liquefied.
We
No,
are
we lost
now.
that.
No, we're
We're
not.
not anymore.
No, we
we are
did not.
leading the
We didn't
world.
lose it. That's not true. Like that's
That
what
was
I'm
my
talking
industry I
about.
was in.
Wait, you're
So
just saying
frustrating.
nonsense, dude. Yeah, that is
No,
frustrating.
you
You're
just
saying
you don't
nonsense.
like hearing what I'm saying.
I can put it in my background if you want. Like
Please
you're
do, Jess.
saying things
Please
that
do,
aren't
Jess. But hold
factually
on.
true.
Before you do that, Jess, I do want you to do it. I'm gonna put it on the big screen. So grab it, put it on the big screen, and I'll show it. Like that, Mr. Ferocity. That's what I'm saying. You're not actually following the data. You're following the rhetoric. Joseph Goebbels, and this is very important for me to highlight. Joseph Goebbels, who was the minister of propaganda for Hitler, right? He said that the rank and file citizen is relatively unintelligent. And so what you're saying does not have to be true. You just have to repeat it over and over again. And once you do that, the lie becomes the truth. And that's what's happening here. You think that we are not energy independent anymore. We were actually energy independent under Obama. And currently still are. We are the largest producer of crude oil on the planet. And we are a net exporter of crude products.
We're also profiting off it, side note, because of a really savvy business decision by our president.
Yes, he sold, right, our strategic reserves at $93, at $93 a barrel, and bought it back at 60 something dollars a barrel, netting us, you know what I'm saying, $500 billion?
So you guys are pro fossil fuels?
So wait, no.
Oh my God, what the pivot was that?
We're not doing that.
Well, that was
We're
Joe
not doing
Biden
that.
saying
So-
when he was
see
running
why
that
I
I
asked
will
him that?
eliminate
Stop.
fossil fuels.
Do you
No,
see why I
that's
asked
false.
him
He
now
did not
what
say
part
eliminate.
about Donald Trump resonated with him? Like, that was the whole reason why I asked him this question, because nothing about anything that he's said has been advantageous to the American people. Like, he's been...
Well, I can't get it out.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
have
Hold
a
on. Hey,
short,
no Rads.
quick
Everybody
second.
mute. Everybody mute. Everybody mute. Bro, go ahead. You got 2 minutes uninterrupted. Go ahead.
So if we can get back to not only producing, which is refining in the United States, and stop buying it from places like Venezuela and other dictating communities, we need to pull our oil from our wells we've already drilled and then drill more to continue to become energy independent like we were under Trump. And then that should hopefully lower the cost of goods, the transportation costs, which actually started a lot of the inflation on a lot of the products that we buy and sell every single day, our food, everything like that domestically.
Was that
I
your
think
answer?
that'll lower inflation.
Was that
and help.
that was your answer? That was the full thing, or do you still need more time?
That was No, that was finalizing that point.
Gotcha. Okay. So we're going to attack each one of those points one by one. Refining oil. Yes, it would be great if we had more oil refineries. Guess why we don't?
Yes.
Because Jared Kushner, do you know who Jared Kushner is?
Yeah.
Okay. Jared Kushner literally brokered a deal to sell our largest oil refinery in America, which was in Texas, to the Saudis and made $2 billion doing so. Not only that, Donald Trump allowed multiple other refineries in the United States to also be sold to foreign nations. Next, you said Venezuela. We don't buy oil from Venezuela. We steal oil from Venezuela. We have put so many tariffs on Venezuela that it literally destroyed their economy. And that's where the vast majority of our undocumented immigrants are fleeing from to come here to the United States, because he levied shit tons of tariffs against them so we could take their resources. Food inflation. His trade war with China, quite literally, the vast majority of our farmers farm soy and corn because those are the largest cash crops. That soy and corn is what China was buying from our American farmers, especially the small farmers. Well, because he started a trade war with China, China was like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? We'll get our stuff elsewhere, which bankrupt these farmers. Those farmers that were going bankrupt were bought out by corporations like, guess who? Tyson, right? And who controls the prices at the grocery store? So if these grocery chains would normally get their produce and dairy from a local farm, now have to buy from a major corporation, they're raising the prices of the goods in our grocery stores. All of these things that you just mentioned can be tied back to his poor legislation and poor policy.
So was it poor policy that he subsidized the farmers?
He subsidized them because he bankrupted them. If he never bankrupted them in the first place, if he never bankrupted them in the first place,
soybean purchases.
Yes, if he never bankrupted them in the first place and started the trade war, then he would have never had to pay the subsidies, which increased our national debt.
Well, how do you think you check China?
Wait, Jones, can I add to what you just said
China?
too? Real quick, can I just add something really quick?
Thank you, guys.
Did you know, for veracity, that we have 5 refineries currently and being currently built in the United States
Because of the infrastructure bill?
Correct.
No, that's
because
sweet.
of the
That's good.
Okay, great. So can I also add to that my graph that I showed proves that your statement around us being less imported or less producers is false. We're outpacing every nation. I also want to point to the fact that, we are making money on our nothings, like all the things Joan said. But do you also recognize that corporate greed is real, right? Like, so do you ever wonder?
For sure. 100%.
Right. So do you notice that the number one thing that people use as a, I guess, metric to measure a successful economy or inflation, they always pivot to groceries and gas. You did it yourself. And you even made the assumption that we weren't producing as much because the gas prices lead you to believe that statement is factual, and in fact it's not. But everyone seems to ignore. Let me ask you this. Do you know how the government works? Like, legitimately, I'm not being condescending. I'm honestly asking.
Yes, and it doesn't work very well recently, for sure.
Well, no. So let me rephrase that. So you recognize that when legislation is introduced, it goes through a very lengthy process. It has to go through subcommittee, committee, 3 reads on the Senate, goes over to the other side of the Congress, goes through the same procedures. It takes months, if not years, to get a piece of legislation to the finish line, and that depends on who's in office and all these things. Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. So you have all that, and then. So that's the case. So do you recognize once it's finalized, it takes upwards of 1 to 2 years for you to realistically see that policy affect the American people?
Exactly.
Right. Okay, great. Perfect. So would you recognize that 2017 and 2018, when we had a pretty standard gradual uptick with our GDP, with our job growth, a standard drop of our unemployment, that all of those things were a reflection of Obama's policy and not, in fact, anything Trump did besides just being the president?
Well, we had an economic crash in 2008, and Obama did have a gradual increase of, I think, 2% GDP on average every year, which was good.
Well, I mean, no. But what I'm saying is, if you go right now to the same metrics we measured Trump, if you go to the unemployment page on the government website, if you go to the GDP, if you go to job growth, all of these things, there are 0 spikes, either upwards or downwards, from 2010 to 2020. 0. In fact, the only spike you will see is there was a slight spike in the positive for GDP in 2017, which we cannot, you just admitted, we cannot contribute that to anything Trump did because he passed no legislation that was in effect the year he came into office. So he had one singular spike that was in the positive during 2017, no other spikes whatsoever. And that spike even went back down and regulated with the standard increase. So can you explain to me what exactly he did that benefited the American people, since we saw nothing of positive or negative during his tenure until 2020?
This is a difficult stance for me here because there is
Because it challenges your perspective, or because you don't want to admit that you recognize how government works and there's no possible feasible way to say that he did anything beneficial that we would see in the metrics.
Try to allow me to speak versus pointing out a gotcha moment.
Let him talk, guys.
So there's one part of me that is really against big corporations and the fact that can we truly trust corporations to do what's best for people versus how greedy everybody seems to be. But there is another part of me that wants to eliminate a lot of the red tape that seems to slow things up. So I was okay with the removal of the Paris Accord and several of the red tapes that slowed big business down, as long as they did in fact open up in manufacturing facilities and actually show that they were making an investment into America. But how do we actually truly follow that? You have to rely on government to do that, if people are actually doing their job or not. So that's where it's tough for me, that balance.
Hey, you're not answering my question though, and that's why I'm getting frustrated.
Hold on one second. I just need to take a quick commercial break. Commercial break. Hey guys, listen, there's 1,800 people in here. We should be like close to 1 million likes by now. If everybody could just give us a 2-minute power tap, make sure that we're sharing out the live, bringing in more individuals. There's only $300 left in our daily goal. The way you can support me is by going to my link tree. All of my pay links are there: PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, and also a tip jar that allows you to pay in any way. Also, we have our TUFF store where we sell our merchandise. You can go get your Kamala Harris Gotcha Bitch t-shirt. If you use code Kamala10, all caps, Kamala10, all caps, you can get 10% off anything in the store, anything in the TUFF store, tuff.ltd. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all your support. I want to go to Jeff really quickly because I want Mr. Ferocity to say his piece, and then I want to go to Jeff really quickly because I've been waiting for some time. Go ahead.
No, we're good. You can go on with the next.
Well, I was answering him, but that's
no,
fine.
no. Oh, you were answering him, Jess? I apologize.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jess. Go ahead.
That's okay. I was just saying you're. I think I'm getting frustrated because you're pivoting. So I agree that we can look at how regulations impact us in real time. Like, I agree with that statement. But if we're removing regulations with 0 checks and balances already in place, you are just giving more freeway for corporations to grow immensely, ruining small businesses by and large, which is exactly what happened under Trump's administration and executive orders that he put forth that you're referencing, because there was nothing in place to protect us as consumers or protect small businesses. Second part of that is, again, you acknowledge that policy put in place takes upwards of 1 to 2 years to see how it plays out in real time. So when I talk about the damage that Joe Biden saw in his first and second years, but specifically 2021 and leading into 2022, those are effects from the combination of COVID and massive tax breaks for the wealthiest. That is a reality. And so when people shit on Joe Biden while ignoring the fact that he literally recovered this economy like no other country, and every metric that you praised Trump of that he had no impact on, but you praised him for, are thriving or doing better right now under Joe Biden, outside of grocery prices and gas prices. So I just want to, that's where I'm going to land my plane. You still have not addressed the reality of how government works and that Trump is a failure and Biden was not.
Okay, well, sorry I frustrated you. That's not the intention.
Tanya, thank you so much for the $10 Venmo. I appreciate your support. W Tanya. Sorry, go ahead. I'm listening.
That's an interesting topic there, is everybody talks about how many jobs Joe Biden has gathered after COVID and everything like that. But I single-handedly remember Trump basically allowing states to make the decisions they want and watching the Democrat states destroy small businesses and destroy jobs in their own state, and then watch Joe bring them back.
Why are you pivoting? No, you're pivoting.
why?
Joe Biden
Hold
rolled
on,
back all
Jess.
jobs in 14 months. Stop
Yeah,
pivoting.
he replaced all those jobs in 14 months. But also, why are economically, why are these Democratic states still doing better than the Republican states? Then, why are they doing better?
I think Florida's doing pretty good. We have a $25 billion
No, they're not. They have
surplus.
people going out of there because literally real estate or
Yeah, they
insurance
can't even get
agencies
insurance on our
and the
houses.
housing. Oh my God, it's so bad.
Yeah,
You're not talking about people. You're talking about states, or are we talking about people?
Oh, hold on 1 second. So Florida is probably going to flip blue. Number one. Number two, the Villages, who were staunch Trump supporters, have already flipped. They literally had a whole Kamala parade.
200 golf carts.
There was 2,000 people there. There was 2,000 people there.
There's 159,000 golf carts registered in the Villages. If you guys get 500, that's cool. That's
Okay,
pretty
great. But here's the next thing, right? We had the highest inflation for the longest period of time in the state of Florida. It hovered around 9%, while the rest of the state's inflation was going down, mainly because DeSantis, tried to get all of the immigrants, the undocumented immigrants, out of the states, which hurt us at the grocery store yet again. We were paying $8.
Are you Florida, Jones?
Yes, I live in Orlando.
Okay, nice.
So, I mean, these policies have hurt Floridians. I have tons of videos
Florida was a
in
victim of its own success because we had such an influx of people that were fleeing northeastern states, California, coming in here, buying everything up, and increasing the prices of everything. We're a victim of success.
BlackRock bought literally entire neighborhoods here.
Sure did.
Entire neighborhoods, and that the rent in those neighborhoods on those homes was
Doubled.
averaging around $2,000. Doubled.
Yes, don't forget Vanguard. Vanguard did that on Orlando.
Yeah.
We went over there and stayed in a community.
He allowed
that
this
was
to
completely
happen.
bought
His
by them.
policies, him deregulating the real estate market allowed this to happen, bro.
And then DeSantis
So you're
further fueled it with local legislation.
Are you guys telling me that there was a point where hedge funds could not buy homes?
Yes.
Not at the scale that they purchased them in the recent years. Like the Florida
I thought they've always been able to
No,
in the free market.
no. I can even read you the executive order he signed to allow it. Because even companies like Microsoft during COVID, well, not Microsoft, but Bill Gates himself, and Elon and Jeff Bezos were buying up massive swaths of land all across the. I mean, he literally had the largest transfer of wealth in American history under his presidency. The largest transfer of wealth from the poor and middle class to the rich in American
You said executive
history.
order, Mr.
Yeah,
Jones.
I'll read it to you in just a minute. Yes, I'll read it to you in just a minute.
It wasn't law, though? It didn't get reversed?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you can't just I mean, you can get rid of all of executive orders, but provided that Senate doesn't pass legislation to make it into law.
For sure, yeah. But if if he was able to reverse the insulin one, why didn't he reverse this one?
He didn't
'Cause
reverse
this
the
one sounds
insulin one. It
ridiculous.
actually never went into effect. I told you he didn't reverse it. It just never went into effect. I'll be right back. Go ahead, Jeff.
Good morning, everybody. I just evicted the Rona from my house because it wasn't paying rent. So I have a question for Mr. Ferocity.
What's up, Jeff?
What's going on? Do you believe in magic?
No, it's all sleight of hand.
All sleight of hand. Okay, so like for example, there's a wooden coffee table in front of me right now. If I was to just say it's made of diamonds, that doesn't make it made of diamonds, right? Like that magic doesn't work.
No.
Okay, cool. So when we want to know that something is true, we can't just like speak it into the ether and make it so. Like that's magic. So we don't believe in that. We have to find another way to make it true, right?
No, it's a great point. How do we truly know what is in fact real and what is in fact illusion?
Well, this isn't
100% on both sides.
This isn't like a philosophy question. This is more like if we're having a conversation and we want to know what's true. If I just say something like we should be energy independent like we were under Trump, for me to know whether that's true, there's a thing we can do, right? Like I can't just say it and then that's true, right?
That's called wishful thinking, I guess, because it appeared like it was working. But who the hell knows if it would work again or today?
Okay.
Is there a government? Hold on, just really quickly, Jeff. Is there a
yeah.
government source? Is there like a government regulatory commission that exists that actually checks to see how much oil we're producing and whether or not we're energy independent or not? Is there a government entity that exists that does this?
It's called the EIA, my friend.
Gotcha. And so, have you been onto the EIA's website?
All the time, yeah.
Okay. So then, how do you not know that we're energy independent and an exporter?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking. What do you mean?
Well, you said you wanted to get back to being energy independent like we were under Trump, but we are.
Are we still doing the LNG exports? Because I thought they did away with a lot of that stuff because Joe said he wanted to eliminate fossil fuels, and we just made a push to go electric right away.
But that's not what Joe said.
I heard him say it specifically.
But that's not what he said. Do you understand that fossil fuels are a finite resource? And I don't want to get into a whole climate debate with you because you're not a climate scientist and neither am I. But collectively, the climate scientists are telling us, right, that there's an issue and that we need to do something about it. That we need to make, actual measures so that your daughter, who's a baby, I'm assuming, and my children have a planet that they can, actually live on, right? And so when we look at at these government entities that report this information, we see that we are in fact energy independent, and that we are in fact a net exporter.
Yeah,
Do you think we can improve on that?
Well, improving is not the question right now. Like, the question is what's true. So, like, yes, everything can always be improved. One day I could put a toothpick in my front lawn and it could give us 10 trillion gallons of oil. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what's true. So, like, if I go to the EIA, which you said, hey, there's a site, and I look at the data at the EIA, it will tell us how much we're actually producing, how much we're drilling, how much we're exporting, how much we're importing, what the difference is. That information is available, like fully available.
Okay. This is the EIA website right here. This is the EIA website. Oil and petroleum products explained, imports, exports, EIA.gov. In 2020, the United States became a net exporter of petroleum for the first time since at least 1949. I don't know. In 2020, who was in office? Trump, right? Yeah. In 2022, total petroleum exports were about 9.52 million barrels per day, and total petroleum imports were about 8.33 million per day, making the United States an annual net petroleum exporter for the third year in a row. So literally, we are still, according to the EIA, a net exporter and have been every year.
Yeah, no. You can't, we have the infrastructure. You got to use it. But the refinery thing is going to make a huge difference.
Well, why did Jared Kushner and Donald Trump broker a deal to sell our refineries then?
I'm not familiar with that
You want me
transaction
to pull it up?
or that deal. Yeah, pull that up.
Sure, no
Let's
problem.
dig into that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Because why did we sell so much of our farming, to Bill Gates and different people like that, the Chinese? Florida just came out and basically denied the Chinese from being able to purchase any more farmland in Florida.
So my overall point is that while Jones is pulling up sources and stuff like that, there is a way for you to tell whether what you're saying is true or propaganda. Right? Like if you find yourself repeating a thing, you don't have the data to show for it, the likelihood is that you're just repeating propaganda, right? Like, for example, if you say Florida had a high inflation rate because it was a victim of its own success and not because DeSantis started a whole bunch of wars with corporations over insults and decisions that moved entire workforces out of the state. Those are two things that would highly impact prices here. That, if you're just saying a victim of its own success, I don't even know what that means. it just sounds like a coping propaganda thing. Like Florida's actually doing great, even though the numbers say we're doing horrible. I'm also in Florida, by the way.
Where are you at?
I'm by St. Augustine.
Okay.
Here we go. So right here, in 2016, the two firms said they planned to divide assets of Motiva Enterprise, a U.S. venture formed in 1998, which included the Port Arthur refinery, known as the Motiva Refinery. It is the largest oil refinery in North America. Sold to Saudi Aramco.
And you're
In the
saying
split,
that Kushner
Saudi
himself
Aramco took full
$2
ownership
billion?
of Port. You didn't know that Jared Kushner was paid $2 billion
How do you
by
not
the
know
Saudis?
that? Yes. This is funny. You know they talk about Hunter Biden's laptop and like Burisma, and yet they have no idea that literally Ivanka got 25 Chinese trademarks rammed through in record time, and then her dad rolled back ZKE with China, like reversed it so that her trademarks wouldn't be harmed. And then Jared Kushner literally got paid $2 billion after he left office for a deal with oil industry, like an oil deal. Like,
I
these
mean,
were
what I'm saying is,
his
can
kids
you
that worked
can you
on,
actually
wait,
follow that money?
Yes.
And,
Yes.
Like into an LLC or something?
You can follow it directly into Jared Kushner.
Right, it wasn't LC. It was paid directly to Jared Kushner. This is national news. How do you like turn off Fox News, guy? Jesus Christ.
Okay, well, why is
Stop
he not
watching
in
Fox
jail
News.
then? Huh?
Because
Because
it was
rich
a
people
legal
know the same
transaction.
reason he's not in jail. Because they
Well,
are
there's not even charges for that that have been brought against him.
because rich people in America, rich white men specifically, are above the law.
Fun fact: nepotism isn't illegal in this country. Do you know that? Do you know
Stayed away
nepotism
from the
isn't
Jewish
illegal?
aspect of him too, didn't you?
No, I said nepotism. What the
What
hell?
do you mean I stayed away from the Jewish
He's
aspect?
married to Ivanka. Ivanka got rushed through Chinese trademarks where her own father
Are we being
reversed
anti-Semitic?
policy. Yeah, he is. Where
No.
literally
I was saying, were you guys avoiding that one to not be
why would I talk?
anti-Semitic?
What is his Jewish?
What does him
what
being
his
Jewish have to
lineage
do with
anything
it?
to do with him getting a
White
nepotism?
Jewish dudes? They get the favoritism? Is that what you mean?
He's
I never said anything
he's
about
Trump's
Jewish
son-in-law.
people.
He's Trump's
Oh,
son-in-law.
okay.
He's a nepo
I
baby.
misheard.
He's Trump's son-in-law. He's a nepo baby by marriage. He literally had access to the White House as one of his cabinet members. He literally was given the ability to make a transaction with Saudi to the amount of $2 billion.
Tristan, thank you so much for the
He was
$10.
sitting in the box with Elon Musk and the Saudis at the oh my God, what was that? Was that a soccer tournament? World Cup.
Yeah,
the
World
US
Cup.
World Cup. He was literally sitting in the box with Elon Musk and the Saudis and Jared Kushner at the World Cup. The fact that you don't know how corrupt and the amount of fuck shit Trump, your president, and his family members are doing, but you will scream Hunter Biden's laptop, who never had a cabinet position, who was never paid by the White House, there's zero evidence to the point that 18 months of unending congressional hearings have found zero evidence of corruption or fraud or mishandling of
They had
money.
no problem showing his genitals though. But also, I just want to point out that he allowed his Department of his DOJ to go after his own son and find him guilty. So it shows that there's no, you know what I'm saying? That right there should tell you there's no corruption. He let his DOJ go after his own son. He said, if my son committed a crime, he committed a crime.
He knows that they're not going to find anything, and he has the power.
He got found guilty.
He got found guilty. He was convicted.
On all
His
charges.
dad's the president. Do you know what the president can do?
He was convicted. He said he won't pardon his son. He's already said, I will not be pardoning Hunter.
We'll see on that one. I'm going to have my
Does it
popcorn
matter?
ready.
Wait, does it matter? He got charged. Wait. Do you support people having access to guns and due process? Like, do you not having guns stripped from you before due process?
Before we go to another subject,
No.
Can I ask you guys
No, this is the
why
subject
is
you just
Jared
landed us on.
Kushner not being prosecuted?
Because
it was a legal transaction.
Because he did not take.
legal?
Yeah, because he did not take any of the money until after the Trump presidency had ended and he was out of the White House.
Yes. There was nothing that you could pin on him. He literally made this deal with the Saudis after his dad left office.
Who owned the facility originally?
Shell.
Shell.
So
it was
was
owned by a U.S.
Kushner like
corporation in
on
Texas.
Shell's board or something? Like,
I'm
how
not-
could he just
I'm
sell
not
something
muted.
that didn't belong to
Wait,
him?
this is a Texas Republican ran state, and you're questioning the legitimacy of how the largest refinery got transferred over to Saudi, and somehow you're trying to what are you doing?
No, help me to
Trump
figure
was
out how
president.
you sell
Jared
something
Kushner,
that you don't actually
Jared
own. It's not
Kushner
yours.
brokered the deal. Wait.
Sounds
Jared
like
Kushner was a brokerage. Jared Kushner brokered the deal. Donald Trump was president when it happened. Greg Abbott was in charge, and the general legislative body of all of Texas is Republican ran. So please explain to me how the largest refinery being transferred to Saudi Arabia and funding being put into the pockets of Jared Kushner after his father-in-law left that office has anything to do with anyone outside of the Trump name, the Trump lineage, or Republicans for that matter. I want to know how you're going to blame somebody else, but I want to go back to what I was saying because you pivoted,
go
because
ahead.
I'm making a point. When it comes to his charges, the only reason he got held accountable and gone to court and got found guilty by a jury of his peers is because he's Biden's son. Because the criminal charge he was charged with, nobody has ever been formally charged unless they have committed a crime with said gun. You believe in due process being had before you take a gun away from someone. So while he did attain the gun illegally, he did no illegal acts with the gun. And therefore, you would not have agreed with any of the shit that they just pulled on Hunter. But you support it because you don't like Joe Biden. As a 2A supporter myself, I recognize that you know that case is bullshit. And every 2A supporter recognized that case is bullshit. And if it happened to one of you, you'd be livid.
No, that's bullshit.
Okay. And yet he got held accountable and found guilty in a court of law on something that is never heard.
They had to make it appear as if they were doing something equal,
So
even
if they
though he
didn't,
wasn't
what
going
would
to get
happen?
prosecuted or
Do
nothing.
you know that they were already talking shit in the public square, like Elon Musk, right-wing pundits, political pundits, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that if he didn't get held accountable, it would prove that Joe Biden was crooked. So do you agree that Joe Biden was really left with no other way but accept the fact that his son broke the law and he's got to allow them to put it through the court system? So it's funny to me you're making the argument if he didn't do it, they could call, but if he intervened on a case that never should have gone to court, then you would say it had either way, you make him lose. Do you see that?
I mean,
It's Biden's DOJ, though. I don't believe in that DOJ. I'm not a fan of it.
Oh my God.
But what you just said prior to that makes it seem like you believe that Hunter Biden was a victim of political persecution.
Correct.
I think they were in a way, but it was controlled.
It was controlled by his own father.
Yes, and by his father's
Meanwhile,
DOJ.
Donald Trump gave $2 billion transactional deals to his son-in-law. Okay? This is the
And
difference.
who wasn't
We are
prosecuted.
not the same. Because he did it after he left office. After he left office was when he went to the U.S. game and sat with Elon Musk and the Salties. After he left office is when he got this payment. The deal was brokerage to get rid of the refinery and sell it off to Saudi Arabia. I believe it is in 2019. Either 2019 or 2020. Either way.
2016.
Oh, 2016?
Beginning of
2016.
middle of 2016, yeah.
Ronnie, you got to work on that hate in your heart. We're just having a conversation.
Well, I just feel
Let's
like
not tone
the
police
obfuscation.
the other gas.
Yeah.
Like, that's
the
not okay,
obfuscation I get frustrated with is like you will bend, like Joan said earlier, people will bend themselves in pretzels to excuse the behavior of Trump and his allies, his cabinet, his children, his son-in-law. But they will throw Biden under the bus for his son admittedly having a drug problem.
I understand that.
Drug addiction.
I just have a really quick question that I think that is important and pertinent right here.
I understand
in this
that.
minute. Mr. Ferocity, I have a quick question for you that I think is important in this moment, right? So
go ahead, Mr. Jones.
Okay. So one of my major issues in all of this, right, is being on both sides, is like the Republican Party literally being on both sides of every argument. At this point, right, you haven't been able to list a valid reason why anybody should support Donald Trump in a re-election. Like, you haven't given us anything other than talking points that aren't actually based in facts. Like
term limits.
What?
He's
term
not
limits.
Term limits.
Yeah,
he's not in favor of term.
Yeah, he's not. He wants to stay as the president for the rest of his life.
Do you guys want to know where I found that at?
Sure.
When he released in 2020 his second term agenda. If you can pull up Trump's second term agenda, term limits were listed in there.
Term limits
For the
for whom?
president or for congressmen and other legislative bodies? Because he literally just said that you will never have to vote again if you vote in this election, Christians. You will.
Because he
Don't
can't
worry,
run.
I'll fix it. No. Why would you say never have to vote? Do you not think that they want to continue to ensure that a Republican individual is running this nation? Why would he tell them they never have to vote again? And it wasn't like a one-off. Like, he kept saying it and ended the speech saying, "Trust me, I will fix it. This will be the last vote you ever have to cast."
That's just
He
a
also
reflection
has
of how your
ran-
media gaslights you.
No, it's not. I
this is
listened to the whole
words.
speech. I listened to the whole Turning Point speech. Did you?
Yeah, but I think it's taken out of context, just
No,
like
it wasn't. I listened to
the
the whole
bee bath
speech. It was not. It was
conversation.
not taken out of context. I listened to the whole speech.
Mr. Ferocity,
You can watch it on YouTube.
That's his exact words, Mr. Ferocity. There's not like a twisting it, taking it out of context. It's his exact words. And not only did he say them, he said them multiple times. So if he meant something else, he could have provided further context, and he didn't.
Nope, he never. And let's also add to the fact that he's posted on Truth Social. He posted it on Twitter back in previous time. That ad that jokes about him being 2024, 2028, 2032, 2036, like Trump, like a Trump dynasty. He's joked about a Trump dynasty. His son jokes about being his heir. Like, I don't know how. Again, this goes back to, you will obfuscate everything he says as joke or satire. No big deal. He also said he was going to get rid of Roe. Guess what he did? He appointed 3 judges. They all lied under oath in their congressional hearings, and they got rid of Roe. So excuse me for saying, when this man says something, I'm going to believe him. And I'm not going to believe him and wait till he says it over and over again, even though he does. I'm going to believe him the first fucking time. If Joe Biden said that, Ferocity, what would you say? If Joe Biden got on a stage and by definition, and by the way, he was not saying this in joking manner. He was demanding this stuff. He also said some pretty crazy shit to the crypto bros at the convention that also was very demanding. But if Biden had said this in a joking manner, even made a point of doing it with a tone in his voice, I'm going to make sure I never leave office. How would you feel? Would that be national news on the Republican Party side? Would that be all over Twitter?
I get that, because whenever Joe Biden stood up there, but with the red background, and he said that all MAGA are domestic teas. I mean, that was infuriating. The man who was supposed to unite us all.
So here's you taking this out of context. Did he also make sure that he recognizes that not all Republicans share these values? Do not all Republicans are violent? He literally made sure to specify that he was not speaking to the entire right-wing party, that he was being very specific about the people that he was concerned about, and those were violent, those threatening violence and participating in violent actions.
Hey, I'm gonna play this clip real quick, if you don't mind, Jess. I'm gonna play all 26 seconds so people don't say that, what I'm saying, like I edited it or clipped it out or nothing like that. I'm gonna play the whole part what he's talking about. Sorry.
And Christians, get out and vote. Just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
I'm going to have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote. How do you take that? How is that out of context? Now, mind you, I watched the rest of the video before and after. He does not roll that back, take that back in any form. He does not specify, because I won't be running again. Again, he's going to want to continue to see the Republican Party remain in power even after he's gone, if he would truly plan to
He said
leave.
in his last election, he said, maybe we'll change the laws. Maybe I can, be president for 3 terms, 4 terms. Who knows? Maybe I'll be president in 2025. He said I'll be president in 2025. And this was what if he would have won 2020. He said I'll be in president in 2025 and then 2029. Like he's gonna live that long. Not on.
They all do that though. That's
nobody's ever done that.
Nobody's ever said that on the left.
No.
You want me to tell you who?
Yeah, play me an audio. Find me some audio, Ferocity. Show me some
ready?
audio of where a leftist.
Find the one of Obama sitting in his, talks about sitting in his sweatpants in the basement and just having, just somebody that he can control. Find that one.
Okay, sure.
When he said Obama's third term,
Ferocity.
that should come up.
Ferocity. Real
Not
quick.
that I ever thought that would happen. I mean, not like Joe Biden was any
Real
type of
quick.
a puppet.
First of all, I think this whatever you're alluding to is also probably out of context or in joking fashion, but regardless.
Probably.
We're not talking about Trump saying a one-off. We're talking about the fact that this is a repeat rhetoric that comes out of his mouth, from ads on his Truth Social to the statements that Joe Jones just brought up when he was president prior, to the statement he just made 2 nights ago, to the fact that he literally tried to install electoral delegates illegally in the swing states and had them sign affidavits swearing that they were the appointed delegates from the state legislative body, and they were not. It was a literal scheme that was on a mass scale with Trump and his lawyer. That is one of the things that we are trying to take him to court for.
Running, that was actually done in Hawaii, and
no, it wasn't. Georgia.
The Democrat
it was done in Georgia.
electors
No,
in that
it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Obama said this
Hawaii
in a. Hold on one second.
both
Hold on
of
one
their
second.
slates of electors.
Come on, play
That's
it.
a lie.
Play it. Let's
But
hear it.
I don't have a clip for it, but he said
Okay.
this. No, it's on the Colbert Show. He wasn't even in office anymore when he said this, though.
It's all stupid. It's all dumb
But he
stuff
wasn't
we
in
argue
office
about.
anymore.
None of this
He was on the
actually
Colbert
goes
Show and they were joking. He's like, yeah. He's like, if somebody had an earpiece and and I could listen in, or you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
chime in.
And
if they had
that's
an
how I
earpiece
took
and
it,
I could
too.
chime in.
I took it as a joke too, but I'm just saying that this stuff can be interpreted in different ways. I can understand
That is
how
different
Trump
than
said,
saying, I
running,
don't
let me
wanna
talk.
leave.
Running,
Oh my
let me
God.
talk. I can understand how the way he worded that, you guys can take it like that. But there's been no point that I've seen of Trump directly threatening the Constitution. If anything, he defends it.
As a matter of
He
fact,
could
no.
have been the tyrant.
Hold on. Stop.
He could have been the tyrant.
That's not true. That's not true. He literally wanted them to go against the Constitution before January 6th. He said exactly that. He said literally exactly that. And then in addition to that, he said, if I'm reelected, I'll be dictator for a day. Can you name me any other dictator in the history of ever, that was only a dictator for a day and then turned it back over to the people? Any dictator that would just relinquish their dictatorship peacefully said, yeah, I've had fun with this, but I'm gonna turn it back over.
I think that was misrepresented as well. Can you play that clip in its entirety?
Okay, Mr. Ferocity, here's the thing. Like,
Hey, what's
there's
up?
too many instances for you to say coincidence or misinterpretation. These are things that he says over and over again. These are things that he's shown over and over again. And as we have said, when somebody shows you who they are the first time, believe them. Believe them, because not only is he saying these things, he's attempting actions to support them.
Trump,
But you will never
on
get me
Truth
to
Social,
believe that he's
on
a
a Truth
Hitler.
Social post, Donald Trump literally says that we should terminate all rules and regulations articles, even those found in the Constitution, so that we may overturn the 2020 election.
Do you have audio of that? Him
He
saying
posted
that?
it on Truth Social
From his account.
from his account.
Okay, well, I'm not for that. I don't want to alter the Constitution, or if we do it, we have to do a convention of states and do it legally.
But that's his plan. His plan is to become a dictator. His plan is to install himself permanently for the rest of his days on this earth.
But he can't just do it. Just like Joe Biden can't just go and executive order forgiveness.
He's
of all
already
student loans.
had.
You just
He's
can't do
already
it.
had the Supreme Court say that a president has immunity for any act that they, that they enact. As the president of the United States while in office.
The president has always had that, Mr. Jones, like Obama killing American citizens
No,
overseas.
no, they haven't. What do you mean Obama killing American citizens overseas? You mean people that were arbitrarily
Omar
hit?
Al-Awlaki, the
Huh?
16-year-old that was offed in the diner by a drone strike. And when Obama was
Yeah, that
asked
wasn't.
about
That's
it,
what I
he
said.
should have had a
Unintended
better-
casualties of war.
He should have had a better dad.
What?
Casualties of war. You act like so they were targeting this one young person, is what you're telling me.
The drone strike was an official act. That's covered under presidential immunity.
Exactly. So
But
I guess everything is now, right?
34 counts of fraud are not.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's not covered under immunity.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Well, it's been fun.
But I think this is where we probably need the part, guys. The little one might be waking up. I think I gotta go.
This is a shame that the state of our country is like this. Like, why?
It's been fun though, Mr. Jones.
No,
Come on, we have
ferocity.
to. We
Real quick,
haven't
It's
we
not
found
fun
some
for. Hold on.
same
Oh,
ground?
no, Jess, hold on a second. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for me that we live in an alternate reality. It's not fun for me that people let me finish. It's not fun for me that people quite literally will bend themselves in knots, to ignore things that we can base in facts, base in science. It's not fun or funny to me that women's rights have been stripped away from them, and over 60,000 women across this country have had babies by their rapist since the overturning of Roe v. Wade. It's not fun to me that the members of the trans community and queer people in general have had over 600 pieces of legislation levied against them since Trump's presidency. It's not fun to me that school books are being taken out of schools, especially those that are directly can be directly attributed to Black history and Black people. No, Black history and Black people, right? Like, why should we have to take Reggie Jackson's autobiography out of the or Rosa Parks' autobiography, or these people's autobiographies out of the schools? Why shouldn't they be in the libraries? Why are we saying in the state of Florida that slaves learned trades being slaves and that it wasn't all bad? No, it is all bad to own people, and these people came from their country knowing metallurgy and knowing how to build and farm. Like, why are we advocating for lying to our children? Why are we advocating for causing harm and death to children and women? Why are we advocating for this? Why are we advocating for a president who wants to put homeless people in prison camps? Why are we advocating for this? Why are we advocating for a fucking rapist to be president of the United States, telling other young men that, hey, you can grape people and still be president?
That part.
Have a good day, man.
Also, genderqueer was not in a single elementary school. I hate that talking point.
Same. Guys, there's over 2,000 people in here, and we haven't even hit 800K likes. Come on, what are you doing?
Yeah, we can hit 1 million, though. We can definitely hit 1 million. Also, there's only $280 left in our daily goal. If you would like to support the platform, you can do so by going to the link in my bio. All of the pay links are there. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, and a tip jar. Also, you can check out our stores. The TUFF store, tuff.ltd. If you use code Kamala10, all caps, you can save 10% on anything in the TUFF store. Those are the best ways for you guys to support us and the platform.
Where did we go so wrong that so many people have lost their humanity?
Wish I knew. BJ, what's going on? Have you had some water today? Frankie, thank you for the $1. BJ, are you there? Guess no. Emmy Coleman, thank you so much for the Cash App.
We have a whole group of people that are literally targeting SEL in our schools. It's the new CRT. It's the new, like every talking point is a new pivot. So SEL, social emotional learning, literally something that helps children learn how to regulate their relationships and deal with conflict and understand that not everyone is the same. That is literally something that they want removed from our school system. I have a person on my school board right now who has publicly said this over and over again and has tried to and voted against our teachers having SEL training that is all of one session for 6 hours.
Right.
Like, that's where we are in the world right now. Screw kids, right?
I do hope, like, I literally, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, I do hope that Mr. Ferocity, like, spends more time watching, the lives in the morning and whenever we're on in the afternoon, and engages in dialogue, with people and like reads news sources that are opposing to the ideologies that he's adopted. Here's the thing, right? And that's what I was trying to explain about how propaganda works, right? You just have to keep saying the same thing over and over again, and eventually the truth becomes the lie. But in addition to that, right, there's very real consequences to the decisions that we make as American citizens. Very real consequences. And I hope that, you know, some of these people factor those things in. And as No Rads was saying, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. Believe them. Believe them. And he's told us who he was over and over and over and over and over again. And what a lot of these people are experiencing, and I talk about this all the time, is an amygdala response. The amygdala is the part of your brain that, you know, is your fight, flight, freeze, or fawn responses, right? And so when you have information that goes against the propaganda that you've been ingesting, and that propaganda has become your core, you know, a core part of who you are, that's why people will put Trump in their username, a picture of Trump as their PFP, buy the hat, the t-shirt, the bumper sticker, the NFT, the shoes, the everything. And once you become so enthralled, right, so intermingled in these ideologies, it literally becomes a part of who you are. And so if anything goes against that, one, it goes against your ego, right? Two, it goes against, like, you have to admit that, hell, shit, I'm a sucker. Like, I've been had, right? But three, it tells your body that you're in pain. And your brain can't differentiate between physical pain and emotional pain. It only knows pain. And so you will fight at all costs, right, to push that information away, even though it's factual, even though it's rooted in science, even though it's rooted in data that we can quantify. Everything can't be, oh, you misunderstood what he was trying to say. Everything can't be, oh, you know, well, that's not what he meant. That's not what happened. That's not what he did. When all of the other, it's the principle of Occam's razor, right? Jeff, you want to explain Occam's razor for the crowd?
Yeah. So, I mean, the easiest way to say it is that when you consider what the explanation for something is, the simplest answer is the best. But I like to say, don't have assumptions that you can't have as few assumptions that you can't justify when you're drawing a conclusion. So, like, when somebody says, I'm going to do a thing, it's an assumption to think they're joking unless you have a reason to justify that. Like, you know, for example, when bringing up stuff that Obama said, if he's saying it to a crowd and everybody's laughing, including Obama, that's probably a joke, right?
Right.
When Trump says a thing and he's really serious, and after he says it, the room is quiet and everybody's looking at each other, probably not a joke.
Probably not.
Or if it is, probably a bad one.
I don't know if we have any other Trump supporters in here that would like to come up. If you would, you know, you can just put Trump 2024 or raise your hand in the chat. I'll let you up. We can have a conversation. Oh, Lord have mercy.
I'm going to drop for a capitalism, but I'll be back if you're still on.
Sure.
All right.
All right. Good morning, one and only. Have you had some water and said something kind about yourself today?
Yes, I did. I gave thanks to the Lord that I'm alive.
Hey, that's a good start.
Right.
What would you like to add to the conversation?
Well, I was listening to your earlier with the other gentleman, and I can understand that you guys kind of bring up a good point where, because I was kind of confused too when Trump said that at the rally that he did, as far as like where Christians don't have to vote for no more. But you do understand that we do have three branches of government, right? Or when it comes to the executive, or as far as any kind of president try to become a dictator.
One and only. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Okay. I'm sorry. Hey, Jen, thank you so much. Jen in the chat for the $78 Venmo. W Jen in the chat for the $78 Venmo. I appreciate your support. You're amazing. W Tanya for the $20 Venmo. W R Baker for the $20 Cash App, and W Jana for the $5 Cash App. I appreciate you guys. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So so we had 3 different branches, right? We had the executive. We have oh crap, mine went blank for a second. Judiciary and what's the third one?
Legislative.
Yeah, legislative. Right.
Yeah.
So how would this play out? How could a president try to change that? Because remember, the Supreme Court is able to. They can't make.
Who interprets the Constitution? The one and only.
Excuse me.
Who interprets our Constitution?
Well,
who's the final decider of the interpretation of our card?
Jess, if you ever say interpretates again, ever, I'm going to block you.
Okay, look, I speak wrong sometimes too, and I corrected myself.
I'm going to block you.
Leave me alone.
I'm going to block you. You know, no, you don't know why. There's a backstory. No, there's a backstory, Jess. There's a backstory.
How can I get hurt if
there's a backstory?
That's not real fair.
There's a backstory. Fucking what's his name? Lumberjack argued with me for like 2 hours that it was a word, and it's not a word. Yes. Okay. You guys, you want to see my nails?
That it's a word, so you can't block me. Okay.
It's fine. Anyways, unblock you.
The one and only who interpretates.
Stop it.
Constitution.
Who
does the interpretation of our Constitution? Do you know?
Well, obviously we do. Obviously.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Oh my God. Okay. The Supreme Court does it. The judicial branch.
Okay. All right then.
They are the arbiters. They are the arbiters of our Constitution. They decide how the Constitution is to be interpreted.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay, great. So the Supreme Court. Wait, let me just finish, because you made a lot of points about how you think that checks and balances are going to save us, is what I'm hearing, and I hear you. Okay, and I hear this a lot from people on the right. We've got the legislative branch. We got the judicial branch. We don't, though, because see, the judicial branch, aka the Supreme Court, made a ruling that in Trump's presidential capacity, so as president, he has full, complete immunity. So in other words, if he has a conversation with his, let's say, commander-in-chief, his lead military people, okay, his head of military, he says, hey, I think that the left is a threat to the U.S. government, and I'm going to invoke martial law. Okay, I'm going to invoke martial law. And martial law means that, one, you can arrest people on will if they do something that you've now deemed a threat to democracy or a threat to the country. And that is his right as commander-in-chief, as president. And because he had a conversation with a member of his military, that action, that decision, everything that he did is now protected. The legislative branch can do nothing, and the judicial branch has given him law to do so. So that martial law also means that elections will cease. So during a state of martial law, you cannot perform elections. So let's say that Trump is in office and it says, say it's 2027. He's like, shit, election time's coming up and I don't want to go. I'm still alive. Doctor says I still got a few more years left. I haven't eaten enough Dr. Diet Coke or hamburgers and I'm dead yet. I'm gonna invoke martial law for XYZ and cancel the elections this year. And they can't do anything about it because the Supreme Court just said, I have unilateral immunity as president, and any decision I make, as long as I involve a member of my cabinet or official member of the administration, it's good to go. So how does the legislative body fix that?
Well, that's where they will go in and impeach him, right? And because that's breaking the law.
Who?
That would be Congress, right?
Yeah.
Let's go to something that's not breaking the law.
Yeah, so hold on. So in order for Congress to impeach him and convict, right, it would require what?
2/3 of both sides of the House and the Senate.
Right. So like there's like
a supermajority.
It would require a supermajority.
Right.
And nobody's had that. Nobody's had that in years.
Nobody's ever had it. Or no modern presidency.
No modern president.
Huh? Yeah.
Right.
Trump was impeached twice last time, bro. What happened?
He didn't get taken out.
Right,
because the Republicans refused to finish the job.
The Senate, right? Because the Republicans had the Senate and they
didn't have the Senate. They didn't have 2/3 vote. They didn't have the Senate. The Senate was controlled by Democrats. They didn't have 60 votes. You need 60 votes to complete the impeachment, to remove someone from office after they've been impeached. Having 60 votes is a very rare thing to happen in the Senate. I would like to see it happen this year for the Democrats, but it's rare. But what we're saying is, if the Republicans support Trump, if the Republicans are being funded by the Heritage Foundation, which has authored and has multiple cabinet members.
You would need 67 to impeach.
Oh, 67. So 67. Even more than, okay, yeah. So 67. So we don't have 67. You have to have 67 out of the 100 senators agree to impeach him. So where's our protection at if there's enough Republicans in there that refuse to impeach him, like they did the last 2 times?
I mean, you bring up. I mean, it's a good point. I didn't think of it that way.
Also, what are they going to impeach him for? Because by the Supreme Court's decision, that impeachment may be overturned because of the fact that they said his action was sound, and they can't convict him on an action that they've deemed a legal act.
But doesn't it say in the Constitution that a president can only run for 8 years?
But if he's president and he invokes martial law while president, and that martial law is also allowed in our statute. He can invoke martial law, which would not allow an election to occur.
But in order to vote martial law, technically there has to be a war or something?
No, he just has to deem something a domestic threat to the country. And as a president, he can do that on his own accord as long as he has a conversation with a member of his cabinet or administration or leaders within, say, the military branch.
Well, okay, so here's the question then to ponder about, is that if any president, it just wouldn't be him, Biden could do it this year, right? Right.
But Biden won't do it because he's a good human being that recognizes democracy matters.
Right, but I understand that he won't, but this in theory, though, what you're saying...
Yes, in theory, he could absolutely do it, yes.
Okay, all right, then. So why is it that...
Because only Trump is the one threatening to never leave office, friend.
Well, hold on. So why is it that if he actually has that power and there's nothing that we citizens can't do about it? Well, there's more of us than it is them, technically.
He has the military. Dude, sir, right. Do you know what a drone can do to an entire city, entire state for that matter?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah. So do you think that people with their pew-pews are going to be any match for our drones, our military, the DC National Guard, and pretty much any National Guard in a red state that he decides to invoke because they will give him the power of that? Like
then that becomes...
This is not Civil War Revolution time. You will not be uprising against the government, okay? That's a funny joke. I love it. But the military is not what it was in 1776. We're not dealing with long guns that shoot a muzzle fire every 10 minutes.
Exactly. One shot every 10 minutes.
We're talking about literal drones that could wipe out an entire city, block, state. Like, this is this is my problem. You're getting ready. Wait, the one and only. Right? Wait, the one and only. Listen to me. Do you know what I noticed as soon as you got up here and I text Jones? What is your PFP of?
What's my what?
What is your picture in your profile picture? What is that?
Oh, it's Trump.
Right. Do you know it's the exact same image the last guy that was just on here named Ferosti's picture was? Do you see any of us in the chat with a picture of, I don't know, Biden or Harris?
Well, I did that in support because he almost got pew-pew, or he got pew-pew, but he almost got unalive.
I don't care. Do you understand that every person I talk to, typically on this app, that is fighting for their lives and twisting their brains into literal pretzels to defend the actions of Donald J. Trump, always, or I'll say 95% of the time, have an image of Trump similar to this one or otherwise as their profile picture? Do you not think that that is very cultish, or someone who is a group of people that have decided to follow solely behind a singular man and not any constitutional thing, not any party thing, not any people? You made him your personality.
Well, I can't speak about anybody else, The reason why I did it personally is because of support, because he almost got alive.
The reason why they all do it is because they support him, sir. So you are doing it for the same reason. I'm saying
I am a Trump supporter. Yes.
Listen, Swifties are like some of the hardcorest fandoms there are, and you do not see Swifties having Taylor Swift as their profile picture as much as you do Donald Trump supporters, and they're hardcore. Like they'll burn it all down.
They'll be bottling up her air, and trying to selling it.
Oh my God. Okay. Hey, I'm going to ask you a real simple question, one and only. Name a policy. Name a singular policy that Trump passed that benefited the American people.
Every leftist that I go into does that. He did the
Operation
Warp Speed. Right. He did the Operation Warp Speed. He did the.
Did you get vaccinated?
No, I did not.
So it didn't help all the American people.
It wasn't successful then, was it?
Yeah, it wasn't successful then.
Very successful. You didn't get vaccinated. Shit.
No, I did not get I did not get the jab. Did you get jabbed?
This is wild, bro. This is wild, bro. So then, hold on. So Trump did something. Hold on. So Trump did something, right? He put his name on a policy that none of his supporters supported.
Well, you got to understand that. Well, the first act actually helps the African American community.
Hold on. Stop. Yeah, that was passed under Obama. All he did was sign it, and he had to be forced to sign it. He had to be forced to. His daughter and Kim Kardashian talked him into signing it. He said he didn't want to sign it. And now that we look at, 5 years after it, they did an analyzation of the First Step Act, and it predominantly helped white people.
And in the last 2 years of Trump presidency,
tax cuts did not benefit us, Jimmy.
The Platinum Plan also.
The Platinum Plan was never enacted. That was an Ice Cube idea.
Right, because he got kicked. He got voted out. That's why. But
that was never going to happen. He cut funding to HBCUs. He cut funding to HBCUs. One and only. Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish?
Mm-hmm.
He cut funding to HBCUs and then lied to everybody and said that he, gave them all of this money. And then Trump supporters keep running around saying that the HBCUs got all this money that they didn't in fact get. He lowered the amount per student that HBCUs got.
Okay. So why is it that whenever Trump because he had it, Ice Cube went to him.
I don't care. It didn't happen. We asked what policies were passed by Trump that hurt.
I told you, Operation
that helped.
Warp Speed, and
you didn't even support that.
Who?
You.
Wait. Hey, one and only. How did you feel? One and only. How did you feel? Wait. Shh. How did you feel when Trump released 5,000 Taliban? And they were the ones that actually took over Afghan during the pullout.
Well, I disagree with that. Just like Biden paying $40 million a week to the Taliban too, and that's still going on.
We didn't do that. We didn't do that.
It's still going. Yes, it is. I can pull it up right now.
All right, pull it up, and I'll talk to Rick. Pull it up. While you're pulling it up, I'm gonna talk to Rick. Rick, what's going on, man? If you had some water, say something kind about yourself.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Pardon me, what'd you say?
I said, have you had some water and said something kind about yourself?
Say something kind about myself?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Is that what you said? Well, I'm working today, and I was listening to you guys. One of the reasons that Trump, when I look at it, the reason he won in 2016 was who he went up against. It was Hillary. I'm in the mindset I cannot stand. I don't want family members because Clinton served. I voted for Trump because I didn't want her, because I don't like the monarchy thing when a family. Like when Trump supporters start talking about, I want, Donald Trump's son to run after this and all this stuff. No, I'm done. I'm done with Trump after he wins this election. Why am I choosing Trump? Again, I'm an independent voter. Why am I choosing Trump? Because I look at the alternative. Joe Biden has been a joke.
In what way, sir? In what way?
Oh my God! In what way? Look at the economy.
Sure.
Let's
look at the economy.
Reaction.
Yep. Let's do that, Rick. Let's break it down one at a time. Hold on, Rick. You can't listen. I got the tism. But hold on, Rick. Can I talk to you for a second? I
gotta go pay taxes here, buddy.
No, I dig that, but I can't remember every single point you're about to rattle off.
Well, just let me. Okay, the border, what he did with drilling and immediately. And I know you're going to go, well, he's drilling now, and then he fixed the border now, but the damage has been done. Now,
It hasn't though. There's no damage that's been done.
Granted, when Trump signed, this is the thing that almost kills me about Trump. I mean, it kills me on him, and I'm still going to vote for him. But when he signed that stimulus package, the first one, and then Biden went in and signed it, if people do not see that that had a direct result to our economy right now, and they both were involved in it, both of them
Trump
were.
signed 2, Biden only signed 1, and Trump also approved the PPP loans. They gave money to corporations that never shuttered their doors during the pandemic.
No, I watched people not go to work and get paid. I watched them, and you were talking about martial law earlier. I watched martial law happen under both presidents.
Martial law never happened under either of our administrations.
Yeah, there was no. They weren't enforcing it for the military. That wasn't enforced by the military, Frank.
No, they didn't have to, did they? They didn't have to.
Because people didn't want to die. Millions of Americans died. Over 1 million Americans died, Frank.
I know millions of Americans died. Millions of Americans die every day from flus and.
No, they don't. We had more than 500,000 excess deaths in 2020. We had 500,000 excess deaths in 2020.
I did what they needed to do. I did what I needed to do, but I fell under it too. And half of the shit was lies.
Rick, every metric that you measure Trump's successes are on this screen right now, showing that Biden is doing it better.
Okay.
Violent crime is at an all-time low. The GDP, the inflation rate, which we want to see between 2 and 3%, is sitting pretty at 3%. We're producing more crude oil than any country or ever in history. Oh my God.
We need to flood the market. We need to flood it.
Why?
Get the prices.
That's not. Hold on. Stop. So okay, hold on. We could do whatever we want. We could put as much oil into the market as we want. Oil prices are dictated by OPEC. It has nothing to do with how much availability of oil there is, like literally nothing. As a matter of fact, oil corporations have literally turned record profits year after quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter while the prices are high. They are keeping the prices high because they want to. In addition to that, OPEC has multiple times, because of a deal that Donald Trump signed with them, multiple times cut production significantly of refining oil. Significantly. The first time he got them to cut it by 10 million barrels a day. By 10 million barrels a day. He signed that deal with them. The price of per barrel right now is only like $78 or something like that. $80, something like that. So that's not the reason that gas prices are up. Gas prices are up because people are paying the high gas prices. So they have no incentive to not keep them high. You guys didn't know that he signed a deal with OPEC? Oh, let me show you.
They never know any of the bad shit he did. They don't know about the Taliban release. They don't know about the drawdown of the troops in Afghanistan that literally led to the chaos that ensued when they tried to pull out. They don't know about the fact that the EO he signed to lower insulin only applied to supplement D participants and not all Medicare participants, and which is why Biden scrapped it and said this is useless, and then put it in the Inflation Reduction Act.
Have a good day.
All right.
Love you both.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling from AM Radio.
It's a shame that we have so many uninformed voters. It bothers me. Like, I didn't think that, we're supposed to be, the greatest country on earth, but we don't even have people that are actively participating in, the political process. So here, right here, OPEC and allies oil production cut is Trump's biggest and most complex deal ever, right? OPEC agrees to record 9.7 million barrels per day output cut, an historic deal. This was on April 13th of 2020. The reason that he asked them to cut the production of oil, right, the refining of oil, was because oil prices had effectively gone into the negatives. His comments came after OPEC Plus finalized an agreement to cut production by 9.7 million barrels per day, the single largest output cut in history. So he cut it so that the oil companies wouldn't lose money during the pandemic. Which, if you cut the production of oil, right, it's fine when nobody's driving, because nobody's driving. So it doesn't matter. There's low supply because there's low demand. But when the country opens back up, right, when the country opens back up, and now there's a high demand for oil, but there's no oil that's been refined, of course the gas prices are going to go up. Because now we have a high demand and a low supply. He should have just let them, you know what I'm saying, lose the money. It's not like he should have just let them lose the money. It's not like any of them were going to go out of business. None of them were going to go out of business. What do you mean Biden didn't do anything to change it? Biden literally, oh, here we go. And this is what I'm talking about. So uninformed. Biden literally tried to get the gas price gouging bill passed. Let me put it on a different screen so maybe you'll be able to see it better.
He did empty our reserves to make it go down 10 cents more or less.
He bought and then he refilled the reserves right afterwards.
Yeah, I know, but what's the point of having reserves if you're going to turn around and...
He made money off of it.
He made money off of it. Literally.
Right,
this is the gas price. Hold on, friend. Let me finish. This is the gas price gouging act that they tried to pass. The Gas Price Gouging and Inflation Act, right? This is what they tried to pass. Look at here. Democrats, 217 voted yes to stop price gouging in gas price gouging and inflation. Well, 203 Republicans voted no. Not a single Republican voted yes to get the gas prices down and to stop price gouging and inflation. Not a single one. Not a single Republican voted to stop the price gouging at the pump. Not one.
Well, that's upsetting because it's still happening in my town. I literally have to go to another town over.
And stop voting for Republicans then.
Look, I go 20 miles down the road and I get gas cheaper, at least 25 cents cheaper.
Because corporations set their price points, sir, not us. It is a free market. We live in a capitalist nation. Like, the corporations get to... So, like, if you live in rural America, okay, like rural Virginia, for example, where I'm at. If you live in rural Virginia, typically the gas prices have a higher cost for a couple of different reasons. One, there's less competitors, there's less product over there because there's not as many gas stations. And two, it is more costly to the company to import their gas, to refill their fuel station, all that thing, because of the fact that these companies are going out of their way to get to them. They're having to go extra miles to get to these people that are only helping single-use grocery or a single-use gas station. So there are factors that come into play to make prices in rural America more expensive. But the reality is, at the end of the day, corporations are allowed to uptick their prices by 28% because that is how the current government system is set. They can, if you go to Walmart and Walmart bought a gallon of milk for $1 at wholesale, they bought it at price for $1. They are legally allowed to sell it to their customers for 28 bucks, and they would get no penalties. Now they don't, thank God, but they damn sure upticked the price during COVID and kept it even after COVID was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Corporate greed is what you're mad at, not Biden.
Exactly that. Really quickly, hey guys, let's get to 1 million likes. We're literally right there. We only have $152 left in our daily goal. Only $152 is 1,600 people in here. So, I mean, just a few of y'all sent $1. We'd easily be able to meet our daily goal. You can find all my pay links in the bio. You can also find our TUFF store, tuff.ltd. In our TUFF store, you can get your Kamala Harris Gotcha Bitch t-shirts. On the back it says we are not going back. It also has her signature on there. We're going to be donating 10% of the proceeds to the Harris for President campaign. So go check it out. If you use code Kamala10, all caps, Kamala10, all caps, you can save 10% off anything in the store, anything. So it doesn't have to be the t-shirt. It can be anything you want. Please get to 1 million likes. Please, again, tap and share the live out to your friends. Hopefully your most problematic friends. Anywho, go ahead. I don't know who was next. I don't know if it was Chris.
Just real quick, I wanted to
thank you, Kimberly.
I'm going to jump off. Have a great night, guys.
Yep. Have a good one, DT. Happy birthday.
Love you.
All right. Well, I did pull up. So I have two pieces of information to show you. I don't know. Are you one? audio, or you want me to read you or show you the
Either
the
one. Go ahead.
website?
Yep. Either one. Doesn't matter to me.
Okay, all right. So this is coming from a CIA. He's
Thank
CIA.
you, Andrea.
This guy was part of our CIA. He's also a big shot guy in Afghanistan as well. So let me just play this for you. And so he's giving an interview to the Sean Ryan, which is a vet, who also was a CIA and veteran as well.
Thank you, David.
I never thought that 23 years after 9/11, I would have to come here to the Sean Ryan show to tell the world that the Taliban is a terrorist group. I come from a bombed village in Panjshir, Afghanistan. I came here, this country, a very generous country, accepted me, gave me a home, gave me trust, gave me an education, allowed me to serve, gave me security clearance, gave me everything. Now I am the one reminding.
Can you say who this is? Can you pause for a second? Who is this
I
speaking?
have no idea.
So this is off of it's called Sean Ryan podcast. It's a
I
Sean
know who
Ryan.
Sean Ryan is.
That's
Yes.
his-
Who is the guy
Okay,
talking?
all right. So this guy, Sean Ryan's calling him legend.
So we're supposed to take the face
because
value of this individual that we don't know his real name, we don't know his ancestry, we don't know his story. We're supposed to believe him because he posted it on a podcast or a YouTube video. Like, I don't really feel comfortable playing propaganda. I don't feel really good playing a propaganda
not
piece that has
propaganda.
no. It
Sean
is.
Ryan
You have no
Sean
legitimate
Ryan
backing to
doesn't-
prove.
Sean Ryan. All right, here I'll
Sean
give
Ryan
you where
absolutely is
it's
a
coming
propagandist.
from.
I know who Sean Ryan is. He is a propagandist. He
Oh,
pushes
yeah.
right-wing propaganda.
No, he doesn't. But he
Yes,
just had
yes.
RFK
Oh my God.
on that. So. Here, I'll show you this then. Here, that's why I asked him which one he wanted.
I thought you said it was going to be a news interview.
Well, it is. Well, it's here. I'll just show you this. It's a clipping. There you go. This is from the UN. Let me put save. Okay. All right. It says right here.
Y'all need to stay off
and
YouTube, man. I think we just get rid of the fucking internet altogether at this point because this shit is crazy.
But then you wouldn't be on here. Then you won't be able to do your
That's
show
fine.
if there wasn't no internet.
That's fine. I'll do something else.
All right.
I'm very
It
talented.
says UN has flown more than $2 billion in cash to Afghanistan since the Taliban seized power, diverting the U.S. funds.
The UN.
Scrolling down right here. I'll give you where it says. All right. Okay. I don't know if it'd be better if I flip it the other way.
Sean Ryan is considered a far right-wing extremist. Lord have mercy.
I was literally saying that.
She's
He is
on
a
me, by the
far
way.
right propagandist.
Right.
He's a propagandist. He has absolutely nothing. He literally is a former SEAL, a former Navy SEAL that has done some vigilante thing, and they made a podcast, and he literally spews whatever the hell he wants to with nothing to back his statements.
Well, he has top military.
What is
foreign,
this? What is this?
This right here is talking about the United.
Is that
the
what is
United
that
Nations.
website? What is that website? Is that Pro
I don't
Republic?
know, here.
I mean, you're in it. That's
Oh
Pro
my
Republic. No.
gosh.
Oh my God, dude, put that shit down, man.
These
God,
I
now I
mean,
know why
what-
you believe the shit you
Bro,
do.
these
'cause
aren't
you
these
just
aren't
digest
legitimate
bullshit.
sources, bro.
Is-
These aren't legitimate sources, friend.
All right. Here, we'll just go down here and see. Because it's happening whether you like it or not.
No, it's not, because there's no way
It's
for you to
happening,
verify it.
right?
If it's happening, why isn't Associated Press talking about it? Why isn't Reuters talking about it? Why aren't
Here's a U.S. Agency for International Development. Here you go. Don't think we ain't sending no money to no Afghanistan and to the Taliban. Here,
And
There
this,
you
folks,
go. Look at this.
and this is how
This is
breatharians were
from
born.
USDA government.
USAID.
This is a .gov. You can't
USAID. USAID. The United States has provided more than 1.1 billion in response to humanitarian crisis. Okay, so
Well, yeah, that's humanitarian. We need to go back to the Taliban.
it's a humanitarian crisis. Oh my God, bro.
Yeah, but this is not a.
It's not a humanitarian crisis. People in Afghanistan aren't facing a humanitarian crisis.
The Taliban is not a humanitarian.
Oh
no.
my God! Did it say it's going to the Taliban, or did it say it's going to humanitarian efforts?
I don't know. I didn't read it. I just because it said that. Okay, here you go. Let's try this one.
I don't know. I didn't read it.
I didn't read it. It's crazy. That's wicked work. I don't know. I didn't read it. Is wicked work. Thank you, David, for the $4 cash app. I appreciate you. Hey guys, only 145 left. Only 145 or 141 left. That is wicked work, friend. I don't know why I haven't read it. It's wicked work.
There you go. You ain't gonna sit there and diss this one here. You can't diss this one. All right, this is from CBS News. There you go. Left leaning for you. The U.S. taxpayers helping fund in Afghanistan Taliban. Aid workers says that they are forced to serve the
Thank
Taliban.
you, Jaleesa. Thank you, Stephanie. And thank you,
Yeah.
Amanda, for the PayPals. I appreciate you. W. Stephanie for the $25. Thank you, Jose, for the $5 cash app.
You want to put this at the look. I'm from CBS News. You can't sit there and deny CBS.
What does it say on CBS?
Unless you're and
What does it say? What does it say on CBS?
Can you make it bigger?
Okay.
Back to the headline. The headline is. All right, here you go. U.S. Taliban helping fund Afghanistan Taliban.
Question mark.
They are forced to serve the Taliban first. All right. And that. I'm sure you don't want to listen to the thing.
What's the date on that?
All right.
I don't know. What is the date?
20. This was on April 2020.
21st, 2023. Gotcha.
So I mean, it ain't up to date, but it's.
No, it's fine. Yeah, maybe if we wouldn't have negotiated, maybe, just maybe, if we wouldn't have negotiated with the Taliban and we would have negotiated with the Afghan government and we wouldn't have freed all of those, the Taliban fighters, then we probably wouldn't be dealing with this situation. What do you think?
Right, and that's what the point that I was making.
Great. Who did that?
That's why I was
Great.
saying.
Who did that? Who negotiated with the Taliban instead of the Afghan government? Who released all of the Taliban fighters? Who did that?
So Trump did.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
But Biden ended it. But Biden ended it when we.
The Taliban members were already out.
We did.
The Taliban members were already out. And Trump had already negotiated the deal. We couldn't back out of it.
I understand that. So when he made that deal, there was supposed to be 10 points that had to be done first. And unfortunately, for some reason, only 2 was done. And then the next day, because they gave him like a timeline to get the 10 things done first. And I don't know every single one. That's why I'm just telling you in short. But the 10 things didn't happen. Only 2 things happened. And so at that point, at Trump, I don't know. I can't speak for him. All I know is that he said he was going to end the war with ISIS and everything, and that's what he did. As far as like the logistics of paying, he didn't tell American voters that he was going to negotiate with the Taliban and then start paying them. But
okay,
even
real
then,
quick, he's not paying the Taliban. I need to address this misinformation. Wait. The report put forth by SIGAR. The report put forth by SIGAR, SIGAR. You can go look it up. That's who they referenced in the thing, and I went and looked at the actual report. It is simply stating that there is concerns that the monies that are being sent there for humanitarian crisis for the Afghan people may be being infiltrated or funneled into the Taliban government. Not that we are intentionally giving it to them. There's no intent on the U.S.'s part, no intent on the U.S. government's part, no intent on Biden's part of funneling money to the Taliban people. None.
Right, but
They
in
are
my
saying that
opinion, I don't
because
think that
of
we should give them no money. We shouldn't be giving them no money.
we're not.
Why are we giving them
I
money?
just said we're not giving them money. The point is the fact that they have infiltrated the government in Afghan, that they are infiltrating some of the monies. That is what I'm trying to explain to you. This is not me. That is not our U.S. government. That is not our Congress. That is not our president going, here, Taliban, here's some dollars for you. That's not what's happening. They're saying because of the influence of them in that region, there is evidence that states they may be getting upwards of this specific dollar amount. They don't even, and even in the report, it does not specify that as concrete evidence. It's saying that there is evidence that they may be infiltrating that money that is supposed to be going to the Afghan people. This is not us giving money intentionally to the Taliban.
But right, and so that could be happening. But the point that I'm making is that why are we giving their government money at all?
Because
we destabilized the entire region. We literally destroyed everything that, you know what I'm saying? Destroyed everything that they had. Everything.
Okay, so why are we giving money to Ukraine then?
We signed an agreement with them.
Yeah, we signed an agreement in 1994.
We said, hey, if you give up your nuclear weapons, we will protect you if you were encroached upon by a foreign entity. Also, it's in our best interest. We don't need Russia gaining more territory.
Well, that goes back to the Soviet Union as far as I think that he's wanting the part of the land back.
And we should let him? And we should let him?
No, I don't know. All I know is we're not getting nothing from Ukraine. We're not getting oil. We're not getting nothing. We are donating our tax money.
The vast majority of the world's grain, comes from Ukraine. What are you talking about?
That you have to pull. I have to.
And should we give them their nuclear weapons back? One and only. Hey, should we give them their nuclear weapons back then, since we took theirs in exchange for their sovereignty?
I didn't even know that they hadn't.
They had the second largest arsenal of nuclear weapons in 1994 that they turned over to the U.S. government in exchange for protection of their sovereignty. 1994 Budapest Memorandum was an agreement drawn up and signed on by the U.S., the UN, Northern Ireland, not UN, the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, Russia, and Ukraine. All of those entities signed this agreement in 1994, guaranteeing Ukraine to keep their sovereignty should Putin or Russia, or whoever the leader of Russia is, decided to invade their country. And in exchange, they handed over the second largest nuclear weapon arsenal. Should we give them their nuclear weapons back then and just say call it a day?
No. Okay, so all right. Well, then that makes a point. But I know that Biden just signed another 10-year treaty with them as well, as for additional clearance. I mean, but the point is that isn't Ukraine been a corrupt country for decades?
What does that have to do with anything? They still deserve their sovereignty.
I mean,
they still deserve their sovereignty. No, they're not all corrupt, and they're certainly not more corrupt than Russia.
They were corrupt because they were under Putin's freaking fingers. They were all oligarchs tied to Putin. Everyone who was running Ukraine from 1994 up until Zelensky took over were Putin puppets, dude. That's why it was corrupt. That's why we. Oh my God, man! This is. I'm going to be super quick, man, because I got to jump. But I requested back when you were all doing this skepticism thing about, Trump can't be a dictator because we have checks and balances thing.
Like, you can't.
Sir, do you understand that the entirety of Project 2025 is aimed at removing those checks and balances from the other two branches of government and focusing power on the executive branch?
Who wrote
What's that?
Who wrote Project 2025?
I'll tell you, 31 former members of Donald Trump's administration among them. But yeah, the Heritage Foundation, the Moms for Liberty, right-wing Christian fascists wrote Project 2025.
But Trump
Are you just going to keep talking over me, dude? I've been really quiet this whole time listening to you dribble.
Well, ain't nobody drilling. We're having a civil conversation.
No, you're not.
We got to pause so he can finish speaking, one and only.
Okay. Yeah, because he said he's got to go anyway. All right.
Yeah, that's my only point, though, dude. If you knew anything about Project 2025, you would know that its specific goals are to remove the checks and balances from the legislative and judicial branch, to stack the court, to gerrymander and redline the entire how we get our Congress elected, and focus power on the executive. That's the entire goal. To get rid of all the agencies, to get rid of the EPA, the FDA, the Department of Education. I mean, the list is very long.
Thank you for 1 million.
The entirety of all of that shit is, but by the way, how many times is Trump's name mentioned in that 900 pages? Like 300 plus?
Yeah, a lot.
31 members of his administration helped write the damn thing.
31.
I can also play audio that from previous where he literally is speaking at the Heritage Foundation and specifically references the mandate and the fact that while he was president and how proud the Heritage Foundation was of him for the fact that how is it all of a sudden the people that funneled him his money during his campaign processes, the people that told him which judicial people to put into positions of power at the federal and Supreme Court level, along with Leonard Leo, the people that literally funded the RNC. They were the top funders of the RNC that just took place. They were speakers at the RNC. Like, even the leader of the Heritage Foundation says, yeah, I know he's distancing himself from our platform, but that's because he has to in the public sphere. Like, everyone is telling on him, and you are like, nah, he said one time he doesn't know anything about it.
Right.
Did I hear you say you were a veteran? One and only?
No.
Oh, I thought you were. Somebody else must. But I assume you support the military and veterans?
Right,
like,
because we was talking about Sean Ryan being the veteran.
No. I want you to read up and research the impact that Project 2025 is going to have on veterans, and specifically disability benefits. I mean, this is serious, dude. And active duty military as well.
Project 2025 is 900, right? So of course you did say you're lipping.
No, I gotta jump. My parents are here visiting. Bye.
Okay,
you're an idiot.
So no, you're an idiot. So Project 2025 is a 900-page. I'm not gonna sit here and read 900 pages.
Why wouldn't you? Your very future, your very life, and life of people that you care about and love may depend on it. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Because guess what? Project 47 is snips of that 900 pages.
Oh, but I thought they didn't have nothing to do with each other.
Well, I'm just not looking at it. I just Google it. Shit, I thought 47 was different than 2025.
Hey, did you know Trump? Do you know Agenda 47 was altered on his website after he got the formal nominee?
Thank you, Donna, for the $2 Venmo. I appreciate you.
And he tried to distance.
Only
yes,
$100
You have to archive it. You have to go to the archives.
I didn't know that somebody would go in there and change stuff from one day to the next. I don't monitor it like that.
I do, and I have the archive saved on my phone. Because you can see that, and thankfully, when they say the internet is forever, they're right. We literally have something called the Wayback Machine, and you can go to a website.
So
you can go on a website. Right. Yeah, but you have to go to the archives. You have to go to when he literally changed it during the RNC. So prior to the RNC, you can go into the Wayback Machine on the internet and see what the website looked like previously. But one of his policy platforms that I have screen recorded as well, but was literally on there where he says, for example, I'm going to end birthright citizenship. That is a constitutional protection both in the 14th Amendment and an 1898 Supreme Court decision.
Right.
That is one of his policy platforms on Agenda 47. That is a constitutional violation. You have a problem with that? One of his other policies is saying that he is going to ban urban camping, arrest violators of that ban, so namely those that are unhoused, relocate them to inexpensive parcels of property where he will erect tent cities and offer them state-sponsored health care, okay? Of which he recognizes many will not take, but they do not have the option to leave this camp, namely an internment camp by all definitions, a camp that you are creating and saying that these people are being held against their will because they have violated an act you put forth, they have been arrested, and now you're going to force them to get state-sponsored health care with the understanding that many of them may not want it. Do you not have a problem with that? That's going against due process.
About?
This is a policy platform on Agenda 47. I've literally...
Are you talking about like for the homeless?
Yes.
Yes, for the American citizens who are houseless, yes.
Okay, and so he's not putting them in concentration military camp.
He wants to arrest them.
Yes.
What
So
do you
here's
do?
the
What
okay.
do-
Hold on.
what
So
happened
hold
when
on.
you're
Let me break this down. Let me break this down. Hold on. Let me break this down. Let me break this down. So you're going to take people who are unhoused, right? And you're going to put them in obscure locations outside of the cities, right? In tents. Not in decommissioned hotels, not in old apartment buildings, not in old hospitals that are no longer being used, not in any of those things. You're going to put them in tents outside of the city, right? Without due process. And if they have to stay there or go to jail, those are their options. So either go to the tent cities or go to jail. Now here's the real issue, right? Here's a couple of them. What about the women that are unhoused? Who's going to protect them in these tent cities and these obscure locations, right? Number two, right? What if they have family members that live in those cities that, that they often check up on? Also, why is it that we can't put them in actual facilities when we have tons of buildings that have space in them and provide them with job programs, mental health care, if they have a substance use disorder, the substance use treatment they need, in actual places where they're not exposed to the elements. They're not, living in tents. Because we know that being in, right, an actual room, a bedroom with a bed and things of that nature do positive things for your mental health. So instead of doing things to, better their material conditions, we're just replicating their material conditions in obscure locations where they are still exposed to the elements and potentially harm.
Okay, so here I can relate to that because guess what? I'm in Arizona, southern Arizona, and so in Phoenix, just as last year, we had what they call the zone. The zone, if you're not familiar with it, is where a lot of tents and a lot of homeless goes there, and that's where they live. They have lived there for, I would say,
by choice.
Right. Hold on, let me finish. You got to speak about. Well, I'm just telling you what the state of Arizona did compared to what you're trying to say Trump's going to do. So, when it came to the zone, there was over probably 3,000 homeless people there by choice. Unfortunately, our governor, instead of going in and offer them aid to counseling, a lot of them are on the D word, so they're homeless. It's not like that they're because they can't afford a job or they can't get a job. It's because they're not mentally. They're on the F. I think Denali calls it the F, which
Sure.
coming in from the southern border.
Sure. It's not. No, it's not.
Anyway, I know. I live there. I'm 60 miles from the border, man.
So so you check everybody to see if they have fent on them when they come across? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, Border Patrol is on.
Yeah, Border Patrol tells us that the vast majority of it is brought here by American citizens through legal ports of entry. That's what they tell us. Through legal ports of entry by American citizens.
I know. Look. So, like I say, I'm 60 miles from the border, and
are you a Border Patrol agent? Hold on. Should I listen to you because you're 60 miles from the border, or should I listen to the agencies that actually record this information?
About what's coming in. Look, you're pivoting. I'm
not pivoting.
Let's go back to the homeless. I just said that
you threw that out there.
Now I guess I can say it because everybody's telling me I can't say fentanyl.
I did.
Obviously on your platform.
I never said the word.
You just did.
I did not.
I did not. All right, what the F word? Now we know what we're talking about. All right, now they obviously some of these individuals either are okay and then they want to be homeless, or they have a problem, a D problem, right? But
because they were unhoused.
Instead of our governor going in and getting them resources, putting
Did he get flagged? Did he get flagged?
I did.
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
I did because he got flagged.
Oh, okay. I was reading your new article.
My head hurts.
There's a new article about me?
Yeah, Nicole just sent it to me.
Seriously?
Yeah, check your text messages.
Oh, that's lit.
An article about you? Is it good?
I don't know. I guess we're about to find out, huh? I guess
I
we're
haven't
about to
even
find
read it
out.
yet. Like, I literally was just opening it.
Ooh.
Oh, hold on. Let me mirror the screen so you guys can see it. That's dope. I'll put it in the link tree later, guys, so everybody can see it.
It's long. We can read it now.
Yeah, I'll put it in the link tree later so everybody can see it. You said I look what? Why you look sad?
Sad.
Oh, nah, I'm tired, man. Like, this is, like, having these conversations over and over again with these folks is emotionally draining. I'm not gonna lie. Because it's emotionally draining in the respect that many of these people are so, propagandized that they can't see it. Bro, you got flagged for saying the F word. I said Fent. You went and said the whole entire thing. Do you want me to bring him back up, Jess?
I don't care. He's just making it. Like, I want.
Hey, guys, do you want me to bring him back up? Yes or no?
acknowledge
I'm
the
going to ask the
harm.
chat. Y'all want me to bring him back up? Hey, listen, there's $102 left in our goal. Thank you so much for hitting 1 million. I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. Anybody who subscribed while we were here, know that you have access to our Discord. You follow the prompts. Once you get your access, overwhelmingly, they're saying no.
While before we decide about bringing him back, I did want to say, I don't think I told you, Jones. I was part of an amicus brief for the lawsuit about the TikTok ban.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing that that article promoting you and your social media advocacy, just kind of brought it right. I was like, see, you're getting all this, media attention right now, which is so critical. But we are facing still this TikTok ban come January 17th.
Yeah, I don't think that it'll happen, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, basically the attorneys.
Thank
told
you
me
for the subscription. Appreciate you.
I inquired a couple of days ago because I've had some people asking me about if there's going to be any kind of injunction. And the attorneys were straight up and said, I mean, really, there's no way to tell. It's either we're gonna get an injunction in a temporary stay, or it's gonna go into effect January 17th. But hopefully not. I just was like, dang, that you're getting this media attention, and it's gonna really help. But we really need to save TikTok, y'all.
I mean, which is also a great time to tell everybody that Mr. Jones is also streaming every single day where you can interact on Twitch and YouTube. So if, this platform does go away, the links are in the bio to follow him on other platforms so we can still continue these discussions every single day.
Yeah, so, I mean, just because I won't be here doesn't mean I won't be anywhere. We'll do this on YouTube. We'll do this on Twitch. We'll do it wherever we have to do it. I mean, and there's many other things that, obviously I speak on. I didn't even start on this app necessarily talking about merely politics. But right now, I think that it's the most pivotal part of our society. And so that's why I talk about it nearly every day. But once this is over, then we can start talking about other ways to deconstruct, decolonize, unlearn, relearn, so on and so forth. I'm working on putting together a class right now, a master class. So hopefully I'll have that done here in the next week or so. And that will be available to all my Patreon users. And also the link will be in my bio. But yeah,
gosh.
working on it.
Still have not taken one of your classes. I've been a Patreon supporter of yours. I don't know. It's been going on a long time now. And I still don't ever get on Patreon. There's too many apps, too many things.
I do them through the Discord. I was doing them through the old Discord. The
I'm
problem
too
was,
neurospicy for Discord.
people weren't showing up to the scheduled time, so I had to figure out a different way to do it. Now I can just record them and then put them on, and then you guys can do it at your own pace, self-paced. That way, you know, it makes it easier. Thank you so much, Brandies, for the $10 Cash App, and also Rhonda for the $5 Venmo. I appreciate you guys tremendously.
You can definitely, Tattoo Maven, you can definitely control what kind of notifications and how many notifications you get on Discord. But also, if you guys really like these discussions, I will tell you that YouTube is a hell of a lot more lenient on the comment section. So if you really want to go spicy, go over to YouTube and interact over there.
So I do have a quick public service announcement really quick. I'm going to drop in a second. I just have a quick public service announcement. So if TikTok does get taken down, even if YouTube gets taken down and Twitch, Jones will still figure out where the bigots are by mail pigeon, whatever he gotta do. He's gonna find you. He's gonna send you some newsletter per email. He's gonna find you. There's no point in hiding
like
it.
a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, literally. If I have to start going door to door and knocking, I'll do it that way.
It's not the Jehovah's Witness. It's Jones. Biggest catcher or whatever it may be called. Like we're gonna find ways. The mail pigeon
You and
is
the
gonna
people
come.
off here on Twitter Spaces.
Oh no!
I listen. I don't go on Twitter at all. Twitter's is crazy town.
You mean X?
Yeah, right. I refuse to call it
because
that.
I'm rebelling against that bullshit. I refuse to call that.
Thank you, Wendy. Wendy for the $10 Cash App. I appreciate you. Why am I trying to do it on my computer?
Nobody wants you back up here, one and only.
Yeah, I took a poll and the poll said no. Maybe another day. I'm not saying you're never allowed back up. I think they've just had enough for today.
So no rads, it is not just a quick on the Discord thing. It's not the notifications because I never turn on notifications for any of my social media apps. Me neither. But just because I'm neurospicy, but it's like I'll forget about Discord and I'll come back in like a week and there's like 12,000 missed new messages. And then I just feel so out of the loop and I feel like I can't keep up.
Well, I just hit the little down arrow so that it clears it out. Unless you at me specifically, I don't read it.
And then I'm like FOMO. I'm like, what did I miss out on? And it's just too much. I was in RTP. I mean, I'm still in Discords, but now we just use, I don't know, do y'all ever play Jackbox? What I use Discord for is with my oldest. Oh, Jackbox games?
I don't know what that is.
No. So my oldest lives in Wisconsin with their husband, and so because they live so far away, the only way that we can like really like connect, you know, is we get on Discord and then we play Jackbox games. Through like that way we have FaceTime going, and then I stream the Discord to our TV so that we can all play games together online.
Yeah, hold on, Jackbox. What games are on there?
They're like Blather Round. They're like Do Re Mi. I mean, there's like 10 packs. So like you can download them on Switch, or you can download them on Apple TV.
Oh no, we played some game on the Switch. No, I don't know what that is. What the Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we played some game
Nintendo
on
Switch,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, we played some game on there. Me and
Monster.
Yeah, but like you have to figure out who in the group is like lying. It's like
that's Among Us.
Yeah, Among Us. No.
Yeah,
Is that what it's called? No, I don't think that's it.
Yeah. And then Quiplash. Yeah, people say, it's from the You Don't Know Jack. Remember the You Don't Know Jack?
Yeah.
It's the Jackbox game. Anyway, they're so fun. Y'all really need to check it out. They're so fun.
Is it called Among Us? Like when you're trying to figure out like who's the like you have to answer those questions. You have to answer questions and then they figure out like which one of y'all is not telling the truth.
No, Among Us was that game where you're in the little. That's not it. No, I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah, Quiplash does get dirty real quick. That's the truth. Yeah, they're super fun though.
Imposter, is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, I think you're talking about Imposter. Yeah.
I don't know. I have to ask Jovan. I have no idea. I literally have no idea. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm too old.
But that's the only thing I use Discord for. Well, listen, I wouldn't know anything about this if it weren't for my 30-year-old kid. Like they're like, Jackbox games, Mom? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. What's that? And I'll do anything my kids ask me to do. I'll play whatever if my kids want to spend time with me, like, I don't care. Whatever they want to do, I'm doing it.
I'm not about to play Among Us, y'all.
Now I sneak play it with my adult
Thank
friends.
you, Tara.
My other adult friends. My kids are adults, but
Yeah, nah, I don't play games. I skipped recess when I was in school. I was busy.
Trivia Murder. I don't play games
I was busy being a
either.
revolutionary.
I don't play.
Thank you, Emily. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Yeah, I was too busy being a revolutionary. I didn't have time for games and recess and all that other shit.
Yeah, they have a trivia murder party. People are saying in the chat. That's super fun.
Thank you, Emily. Appreciate
and it's like a trivia game, but you die if you don't answer the questions right.
Who's in the guest request? I don't know any of these people.
Die? I don't want
Pablo,
to die.
Shrek was here for a little bit. He
I saw
left.
that.
Where'd he go?
No neck. And in the
Maybe
morning,
some waffles.
I'm making waffles.
No.
Trivia Murder Party. I played that. I played that with Jovan and Taisha. I played that game.
Well, then if you played Trivia Murder Party,
That's when they're
Jackbox
like
games.
like the your little monster or whatever goes down the thing or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I played that.
Yep.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
another
super
game
fun.
on that same thing where, like I said, you have to like raise your hand if you did X, Y, Z.
Oh yeah. I can't remember the name of the. Yes, you have to be that one. We can't play that one because we're playing with people in other states, and that one's best played when you're in the same room with each other.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to see each other and who like raises their hand.
You hear the shenanigans that's ensuing right now, Joan?
What are you talking about? What's happening? Am I missing something?
My daughter's on FaceTime with yours, and they're all
Plotting.
being crazy. Yes, against us.
Oh, of course they are. I gotta go
Yes,
cut.
they are.
I gotta go
They
cut some
plotting?
melon. They probably are. I gotta go cut some melon, some cantaloupe, and eat something. And yeah. Do you think Biden should appoint 4 new Supreme Court judges before he leaves? Hey, listen, pack the court, but they won't vote. They won't hold a vote. It won't happen. They'll never get through the committee. I mean, it would be great. Maybe, I don't know. He says he plans to do something, so we'll see. To limit their current overreach, or to hold the Supreme Court more accountable. So I don't know what happened to Cheddar Bob last night. I have no idea. Hey, yeah, guys, we have like 1,000 people in here on only $58 left. I know we can hit that goal before I hop off of here. If you guys haven't checked out the TUFF store, go check it out. Remember, Kamala 10, all caps, in the TUFF store to save 10% off. What do y'all plan on doing the rest of the day?
Biden will pardon Hunter.
No, I don't think so.
I'm getting ready to go to the pool.
I'm raising money for school board candidates right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm literally driving to a meeting to raise money for school board. Oops, I'm not. But anyways, I am on my way.